together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt, I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside, only echoes of the self I hide. Born from ash, forged in shame, you can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. So tear me down the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I strain through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to West Allis, Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee Mile for the HPRL Truck Series Season 6, brought to you by Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Tonight we have 200 laps in store for your viewing pleasure. The 200 at the mile here at the Monster Mile. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania is proud to support grassroots racing and the sim racing community. We provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep our customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventative maintenance and vehicle care, we're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. We're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. Leaving worry behind, Michael. I am so excited to be here in Wisconsin, not just for the cheese curds, but for some exciting races tonight. 200 laps in store, but don't let me get ahead of myself. Let's take a look at where the points sit coming into this all-important Week 7 matchup. You can see Jesse Sperling been on top for a good chunk of the season so far. He still sits there. But now in P2 is the number 2 with win number 2 last week, and not just win number 2, 2 in a row, Michael. Mickey Sundera, all of a sudden they're nipping at the heels. Now, Jesse still has a bit of a gap, but it's going to heat up if Mickey keeps throwing down wins like he's done the last 2 weeks. And again, all these guys chasing that all-important playoff cutoff line. What an exciting battle through 6 weeks. What do you think, Michael, looking at the point standing and looking ahead here to the 200 laps at the mile?
Yep, so you kind of took my words away. So my first eye is that we talk about Mickey Sendera making up huge gaps there. Second win, 2 wins in a row, making great pace on his teammate, 29 of Jesse Sperling, who still has a very comfortable lead. But you got to keep getting good finishes. We've seen Jesse have good finishes all throughout the season, keeps that truck clean, gets a good finish. Even on maybe a day he's not the fastest truck, maybe has a bad day, he still gets a decent finish out of it. And that's how you point race. That's how you keep yourself ahead and continue to build that buffer. You don't have really a bad day. You maybe have a great day and a bunch of good dates is what you try to focus on here when you have point racing. That's really vital to us. But the attention I want to draw to is right by our cutoff line. We talked about it last week. Taylor Locklear was behind Jerry McKinney going into Kentucky, and afterwards we come back. Locklear we saw get a stage point or 2 just off one of the stages. I believe it was 1 stage point we saw him get. I believe it in the stage 2 last week. Ever pivotal point. As you can see, he's now 5 above Jerry McKinney, officially ahead of that cut line, and he is in the chase as we speak. So that's something I definitely want to keep an eye on. Still a great battle. You got Burt Wojcik, who's continued to make his progress up. Only 11 points out of the line, so definitely something that can be chased and something that can be achieved with plenty of time left here in the schedule. But as for tonight, Milwaukee Mile, Troy, a little bit more of going back to that short track. It's a little bit bigger than maybe some of the short tracks we've had this season, but it still has that same aggression and tenacity that we come to know from short track racing. Especially here, we'll get a little bit more further in depth as we get these trucks rolling here a little bit later. But this track is what I think is going to be a single groove racetrack. There's a little bit of a repave, which means it's just a little bit of fresher asphalt. You can see as it comes through the camera view here as it pans around. You'll see that darker shading down there on the bottom of the racetrack, more towards that bottom line, which a lot of short tracks you think when you want to run to the bottom line, be that tire conservative line. But we saw 2 weeks ago, when we left IRP, those guys would get up high in that higher groove and try to diamond that corner. But with repave, it's quite a good bit different on how you counteract that. The repave is so much better on one tire, but two, just having grip to be able to get that truck around the corner. You really want to be in there because it's the best spot to be. But are these guys going to get tired of following one each other around that bottom line and maybe go for the diamond, or are we going to start seeing the bumpers come out and maybe trying to move people out of that groove and have some bumping runs throughout the race?
It should be exciting, no doubt. Repaved, just like the Packers always rebuilding. That's where you want to be, looking forward. It's going to be exciting. And speaking of looking forward and excitement, let's take a quick look at the race overview for tonight's race. Michael said it's going to be exciting. 200 laps here at the mile, thusly the 200 at the mile. Stage one, 30 laps. Stage two ends at lap 90. And the final stage takes us to the end at lap 200. That's going to be really exciting. Those stages progressively getting longer, which brings the fuel into question. 75 to 80 laps is where it's projected to be. Obviously, cautions, your pace, all factor into that. Maybe you can stretch a little bit further. Maybe you get a little bit less. One faster pair. Let's hope nobody needs it, but it's good when you're going to throw those elbows up and that all important pit road speed, 45 miles an hour. It's a nice 70 degrees here. You can see that. It's going to be overcast, so maybe a little bit cooler track temperature will help out, and a very, very light breeze that shouldn't play a huge factor. It's going to be exciting, though. Looks like qualifying has wrapped up. The drivers are wrapping up their driver meeting, getting in some last minute fine tuning. So let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting lineup for the 200 at the mile. Sitting on pole this evening, the second time this season, the 43 of Caleb Sibbett, outside the 26 of Jared Mann. In row number two, you have the 2 of Mickey Sandera starting P3, and outside our current points leader, the 29 of Jesse Sperling. In row number 3, you see the 85 of Jason Baker and last week's pole winner, the 62 of Joey Creech. Starting in row number 4, you see the 5 of Derek Grigsby. He was gone last week, but won just before that. What does he have in store? And the 58 of Joshua Baker to his outside in P8. In row number 5, the 14 of Emil Duna and the 51 of Patrick Schaefer sitting outside.
Starting in P11, you find the 3 of Seth Owens to his outside, and P12, the 15 of Christopher Hockley. In P13, you find the 74 of Brian Torrey, P14, the 12 of Chris Griffin. In P15, it's the 93 of Burt Wojcik, and to his outside, the 16. I'm sorry, in P16, the 198 of Thaddeus Friel. In P17, you have the 1 of Taylor Locklear. We talked about him right near that cutoff line. And P18 will not be racing. That should be race control, the 78 of J.D. Baker. In P19, we have the 18 of Jerry McKinney. And in P20, you have a newcomer tonight, the 10 of James Dubose.
So, Michael, one important fact as we looked through that starting grid, you saw 20 trucks, but JD is race control. So there's only 19 trucks on the track. That means the top 5 will be racing for stage points tonight, not the top 10. So that battle for those all-important stage points that you talked about with Taylor Locklear in the intro, going to be all that much more important here this evening. As the guys have about 30 seconds left in their warm-ups, we'll try to grab Caleb Sibbett in just a minute for a quick interview. But want to give a quick shout-out to everybody in the chat. Thank you all so much for joining early and often. Abby cheering on Duna. Looks like Lisa's cheering on Jesse Sperling. And Sharon is out there cheering on Caleb Sibbett. Love to have all you out there. Love to have you interact. You can talk about lost golf balls. You can talk about who you're cheering on, elbows up racing. We love to have the interaction. We see it all throughout the night. But Michael, it's almost go time. It's going to be exciting here at the mile.
Indeed, it's definitely going to be a little bit more tense the closer you get towards that race time. Obviously, practice here is going to help these guys a lot, trying to keep that rhythm they had in qualifying and in practice before we got all this started. To kind of keep that rhythm flowing. I feel like short track racing is kind of like road course racing. You really want to stay in a rhythm. It's a lot of hard on the accelerator, hard on the brakes, a lot of these places. So it's just so much to keep that ebb and flow of that nice constant flow of continuing to hit your marks every single lap the exact same way, every single lap, continuing to just keep that truck clean, keep those tires happy, and you'll have just a great day.
Have a great day. Just indeed. With that, we're going to go ahead and try to grab our Duna Electric poll winner for this evening. Caleb Simmett, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you. How y'all doing?
It's a wonderful evening here in Wisconsin. Caleb, second time this season you put it on the poll. What's the key to keeping it there this evening at Milwaukee?
One day I'm gonna win the poll at a track I like, and y'all are gonna be like, "All right, finally." But I hate this track. Honestly, really surprised I laid down that lap. We waited till the end of qualifying. Track temp went down a little bit. That definitely helped us. Don't look for me to really win this thing, but Mickey and Jesse got really fast hot rods. They've been really good at this track, so I'll just try to hold my own and see what happens.
Well, Caleb, I know 864 has been really hot as of late. I think all of you have managed to put it in the victory lane. Pace truck's rolling away here. Best of luck tonight, and maybe we'll be talking to you later on.
All right, yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your Duna Electric poll winner, Caleb Sibbett. Michael, I'm going to leave the most recent comment in the chat alone because it says scorecard, and I think it has referring to your golf game mentioned last week. I do know the results of said scorecard, but we'll spare everybody else that pain here this evening as we watch the trucks rolling away on the pace lap, looking forward to 200 laps. Aggression, patience, it's all going to be mixed in here tonight. It's going to be really exciting to see how the strategy plays out. Lori also giving a shout out to Sperling in the 29 Vickers Auto Parts truck. We'll talk about Vickers a little bit more this evening later on, and the 864 team as a whole. So thank you for chiming in as well, Lori. But here we go. It's time to cinch up the belts. The pace truck drops off. The green flag is out. We're coming out of dairy country, and green flag racing is underway.
Here we go. Caleb Sibbett's going to take the green here at the Milwaukee Mile, and he will lead the field around this first time. You can already see them trying to stay on that bottom groove, trying to rope it as far as you can carry it around the corner. And we get a great run there. The 2 of Sundar right behind him, the 26 of Mann, 85 of Jason Baker, and the 29 of Jesse Sperling, who's actually stuck up in that higher groove. He's going to start trying that diamond technique on that higher groove, hit the middle of the corner. You saw him get loose right there. You can see how much of a grip difference you're going to have. We'll try to watch on later throughout the night. If that changes any, maybe a little bit of rubber on that will kind of help these guys. But if you get up above that groove and try to go on that throttle, these trucks are not going to like it. You're going to see these guys getting a little squirrely, a little uncomfortable the more they try to go push up there in that area where maybe the truck's not going to be quite as settled. We have a caution out this early.
Wrecking it back out of the corner. Just caught it out of the back of the screen there. We'll see what happens. You see smoke already float out of a couple trucks.
You see the 85 of Jason Baker gets a little loose. Hockley has nowhere to go. He catches the 12. You see the one of Locklear go down there in the catch fence, I think trying to avoid that wreck. Watch one more time here, try to see if we can catch his cockpit, see when he breaks that truck loose. Just trying to load up that truck. It's a little bit of overcorrect. And you can hear the motor went right there, so he has blown a motor. We'll try to see if we can catch a ride. We'll ride along the number 1 of Taylor Locklear right here. Let's see what he sees coming out of this corner here to turn 2. You can just see him. He's trying to get out of throttle, trying to avoid it. Ends up putting his down the wall. Didn't blow the engine on that one. We're also going to ride on board the 12 of Chris Griffin. Let's see his view here. You see the 15 of Hockley is also going to be involved in this. Right ahead of him, that is Jiffy Lube truck right there. Locks it down, trying to avoid it. Chris does the same thing, just has nowhere to go up on that high line, has no choice but to go through there. Early cautions, early trouble there, Troy, on cold tires.
Cold tires indeed. Repaves, nice smooth track, but it can cause a little bit of havoc early. Also, just taking a look at the chat. Old Money Cards back in the chat with Derek Grigsby back. Great to see you this evening. And Skyler. Oh, Milwaukee. Haven't raced there in a minute. I'm guessing some of these guys would like to have lasted a little bit more than a minute to start the race. Again, good to see everybody checking in this evening. We're going to get them restacked. We're going to try it again. Still 197 laps to go, Michael. A little bit of time to work things out. as Caleb Sibbett is probably thinking these are the easiest laps he's going to lead tonight. He wasn't very excited to be on the pole, but worked out there for the first few laps.
Definitely the spot he wants to be, and he doesn't mind running caution laps here. Even though this first stage is only 30 laps, we always talk about it. The first stage are usually pretty short relative to the second and the third stage. So this is kind of your experiment stage. You know, go put the power down, go try to get that truck loose, get that truck tight, see how it's going to behave in the longer runs. You know, if you try to run it harder here, you can kind of counteract how it's going to behave at the end of these long runs if you take care of it. So like I said, you're going to see a lot of guys really pushing hard, trying to almost do the worst they can to this truck, keeping it in one piece, of course, but they're going to try to find the limit and then work back from that. That way they know what they have and what they can do in these trucks throughout the day, excuse me.
Hopefully we don't make it to the nighttime. We want to finish this thing while there's still light outside. But you guys can all see they're side by side. That means we're going to go back green flag racing here in just a matter of seconds. You're going to watch the pace truck bring them out of the corner. You're going to see it duck down last second. Caleb Sibbett in the restart zone. Hammer down. We're back to green flag racing.
Back to green. Caleb Sibbett didn't get as great a jump as he wanted that time. You see the two of Mickey Sundera that are tied on his quarter panel. These two are going to be side by side. You see Sibbett's down on that preferred repaved groove. You can see just how good of a run he's able to get by able to put the power down, have the grip. Usually we talk about the high line out of the corners, we're able to get the runs and be able to have the best run. But right here with that fresh repave, that fresh asphalt, you can see just how much he gains there on the two. You see the 26 of Jared Mann going underneath the 29 of Sperling, able to clear him right there. There's just so much grip down there and so much more speed on the bottom of the line, but also on that repave. We're going to talk about all night how important it is. It shouldn't really change. Obviously, you know, you're going to put rubber on there and make it a little bit tighter. We're putting some rubber on there. As I say that, we have another caution out, Troy.
Bert Wojcik, I believe, is sitting up by the wall, as you can see there. We'll get a replay. A little bit of excitement to start things out. Who says Wisconsin's boring?
We're going to ride along here with a 93 of Bert Wojcik. See him right behind. Oh, got a little bit too hard in the brakes. I broke the truck loose. Overcorrects it. Stays clean. He just spun in front of traffic right there. So I was going to end up bringing out the yellow. So we should go back one more time. We'll actually try to get a view of his hands here. Try to see if we can break it down here. That's what he's doing. As you can see, the 98 of Friel right here on his outside. You'll watch. I think Friel actually comes down a little bit trying to make the corner. And I think ultimately Bert just kind of doesn't want to plow up into his door and wipe him out. So he goes right here. You see he turns out a little bit there. Bert almost locks the brakes up, trying to not get into the quarter panel by driving into that corner. Like I said, able to save it, no harm done. Tires are a little bit warmer than what he may want, but no damage to that truck is the main key and the main focus here.
I would also be scared if a Tiger turned down to be heading off into a corner, so understandable to try to avoid that. Again, some early action, trying to warm up those tires, get them underneath us. I think there's going to be some sleuthing, a chance for some guys to get some damage fixed if they didn't use a fast repair from that early wreck. That might be what Chris Griffin is doing right now, as we see him sitting on pit road. But again, it's all about finding that rhythm. We talk about rhythm a lot in road course racing. No road courses on the schedule, unfortunately, this season, Michael, for the HPRL Truck Series. But it also plays a factor into short track racing, right? Being able to hit your marks, your lift points, your brake points, when you get back on the throttle, rolling back into it. And right now, these guys haven't had a chance to find that rhythm yet. So hopefully when they reset here, everybody can get it squared away and find that rhythm and crack off some laps, because I think that's all what they need to feel to understand how this is going to go later on in the race.
I agree, and it's hard. Like I said, every time you get one of these restarts, what it is, you have to reset your mindset. So, I mean, obviously, me and you have both raced. People who have done iRacing before, you kind of get that. If you get a lobby where you're having to constantly have these cautions and constantly having to do restarts, it changes your mind on what you want to see. So, a lot of these guys are thinking long run speed. Protect these tires. Maybe here, try to. Obviously, you want to push a little bit, but try to keep the car underneath and keep it in one piece. But if you keep getting cautions, you have to continue to fight every single restart harder and harder to defend the guys behind you who are trying to make up spots and get cleaner air and work themselves ahead. So it kind of changes how you have to approach it now, because if you continue to run your long run strategy, you're going to end up getting past and putting yourself, or maybe get ran over in the process. So you have to go push, and you have to quickly flip a switch to the short run mindset to be able to make up for that and keep your spot where you are.
Definitely, restarts are a chance to reset, but restarts are definitely hard. We're going to see the pace truck crawling out of the corner this time. Again, Caleb Sibbett on point, Mickey Sendera outside. Mickey was able to kind of hang and get down to that low line on that restart. We'll see what happens here. Caleb rolls in the restart zone, rolls it away. We're under green at Milwaukee.
Caleb Sibbett got a great jump that time. He's going to lead him down to turn one. You see the two of Sendera trying to get down there onto that asphalt, trying to get any bit of fresh repave that he can get on that left side of that truck. They'll roll off of turn two here. Caleb Sibbett takes the lead side by side. The 26 and the 2 starting to fight it out amongst each other. They're going to battle hard behind him here. You see them still side by side. These two continue to battle. Mickey on the outside, Jared on the inside. The 29 of Sperling waiting in the fold, watching these two go at it. You see the 5 of Derek Grigsby not too far behind there in P5. He's trying to make his way back up here to the front. You see the 62 of Creech back there. The 58 of Joshua Baker behind this group as well. But all the focus right here for P2. You see Sibbett starting to pull away as these guys start to fight with each other. Jared Mann and Mickey Sendera, neither one giving an inch. You see Mickey still on that high line, not able to get as much. There you go. You see him get the left side tires down there on that fresh repave, and it's helping him get that truck to turn and rotate. So he's using the high line momentum while getting a little bit of that bottom fresh grip. I guess we'll call it a grip boost down there is what he's trying to do, and it's actually working. He's able to hold himself side by side with 26 there. You actually see him go a little bit wide. Let's see if he's able to manufacture a run down the backstretch here. I think they're still going to be side by side with Jared having the preferred groove there. He will still side by side there. Let's see if Mickey can get a run here out. I think he might. Oh, I think he bobbled it a little bit. Still watching on here.
Mickey Sendera push it hard for P2. I don't think he wants to give it up, Michael, because if he gives it up, there's a freight train that's going to go underneath him right now. So I think he's fighting extra hard on the top. He's going to try to clear himself. He does. He gets down in front of Jared Mann. Mickey Sendera now holding P2 steadily to himself. Jared Mann falls back into P3. Whether he wanted to or not, he got put there. And Sendera now going to try to cool off those tires, use that repave, and see if he can track down Caleb Sibbett, who's now well out in front. Almost a 1.5-second lead for Caleb Sibbett.
Caleb Sibbett has checked out completely from these guys. That side-by-side battle really gave him a lot of help. He's already 1.4 ahead. You see him right here exiting out the turn of the corner. They're all just now leaving the corner behind him, so a big gap there for the 43, which is going to play a good role here. That's going to give him a little bit more leeway to kind of take care of those tires, take care of that truck a little bit more. Maybe if these guys try to mount a charge later in this run, he'll have a little bit more. He'll have the option to either keep pushing hard here, keep trying to expand that gap, or maybe he can fall back a little bit, save a little bit more tire, and have a little bit more in the tank if he wants to.
Halfway through stage number 1, 185 laps to go. Means there's 15 laps done. Stage 1 goes to lap 30. So you can see we're going to find out whether or not Mickey Sendera can track down Caleb Sibbett. Everybody's pretty much followed into a single file line at this time. Everybody, again, finding their feet, getting their legs underneath them, feeling it out. Yes, there's stage points on the line for stage 1. We don't want to discount that, but you have to be there at the end of the race if you want to cash in. Here you see a great battle going on with Grigsby. Joshua Baker went up high, almost tried to cross him over, but Grigsby just rolling that bottom time. There was nowhere for Baker to go. You saw him look and try to cross. Let's see if he does it again. He enters higher than Grigsby. He gets a run. Here's a great look out the back. Watch the movement of the trucks. Down the straightaway, a big gap between a few of them. Now, Baker enters high. You're going to see him pull it back down, but is there going to be a truck there? Nope, he's able to shut the door. No groove. Michael, the diamond's not working.
No, not able to, and I think it's just because it's not going to be able to cooperate with that old aggravated surface up there. It's not really a ton of grip. You can actually try to see if we can catch a listen here while we're on this backdoor cam. You can hear how careful they're having to be on the throttle to exit these corners. We'll listen to it out of 2. We'll wait till we get back in here, but they're having to be super careful just because of how loose these trucks are out of these corners. Here we go, we'll catch a listen here. So they're not really able to like jab the throttle down to be able to really crank up all the power they can. They're having to roll onto that throttle, which a lot of times you want to roll on it anyways, be careful, but they're having to be super cautious with it just because if they get it too much too soon and torque up those tires, they're going to break that truck loose. We already saw the 85 get himself in trouble by doing that exact thing.
Gotta be cautious, gotta be careful, can't get too excited, but at the same time, you want to push. If you look at the gaps, look at that gap in front of Grigsby right now. Big gap between him and Jesse Sperling. Looks like about 2.5 seconds, maybe gonna push 3 seconds. Big gaps forming between the front pack and this second pack. But we've seen it before, Michael. Big gaps can disappear if the tires go along with it. So we'll see if strategy plays out here. If this is all just about finding the rhythm. It's really exciting, but all this, again, happening behind Caleb Sibbett out front. But Caleb Sibbett's lead is shrinking.
It is a little bit. I'm looking at it over here to my right. We'll try to see if we can get the ticker up for the audience there as well. It's down to a second. Mickey Sandera starting to close in a little bit on the 43, and that maybe the 43 just backing off a little bit, like we talked about, trying to save a little bit of tire later in this run. But it also could be maybe he burned it up a little bit, trying to go push hard here and seeing what he has. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how it begins to evolve and work around here. We'll try to see if we can get that up for y'all. There we go. Got that for y'all. So that was the first place, according to Caleb Sibbett, and the gap to second place at 2 of Mickey Sandera. Like I said, hanging around a second right now. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We still have about 9 laps to go in this stage, so we're starting to wind down. So we'll have to start seeing about a 10th of lap. We're going to see Mickey get close toward the end of this stage, which we haven't really seen. It's kind of been hanging around the second range, kind of flirting around with that. But as we look ahead, these two, the 58 looking underneath the 5. Maybe go for an aggressive move here, Troy.
We're going to see if the aggression picks up. Again, less than 10 laps to go in the stage. This is going to be a barn burner down to the end. Right now, we look at our top 5. Top 4, Caleb Sibbett, Mickey Sandera, Jared Mann, Jesse Sperling. They're checked out. This right here is P5. This is the last stage point. Less than 20 trucks in the race. Top 5 get stage point. Right now, Derek Grigsby has it. Joshua Baker wants it. A few other friends might want to throw their hat in the ring as they come flying down the straightaway.
We continue to see the 5 actually putting a little bit of gap on the 58. The 58 may have hurt the tires a little bit trying to do that diamond technique. Actually, Grigsby's going to try to start doing the same thing. Actually get him right up to the top of that repave seam. That's about the only place I can really think you'll be able to pull a diamond off is if you're able to get to the top of that repave and then try to diamond out the corner. I think if you go above that is where you're going to start hurting the truck. You see him right there, lost a little bit of ground, maybe overdrive it. Let's see if he'll put the power down on the wider diamond. Keep an eye on this, continue to battle on. Looking a little bit further back behind these guys around P10 is the 3 of Seth Owens. Fighting the 15 of Christopher Hockley around here ahead of these guys. Patrick Schaefer trying to track down Dunas. All this action a little bit side by side here. You see the 15 trying to work on the 3 right there. They're going to single back out, single file in the head. Battle for P2 starting to heat up. Mickey Sandera is under attack. The 26 of Jared Mann and Jesse Sperling still waiting in the folds there, trying to capitalize on these guys.
As we come down to a handful of laps to go, everybody's making their move. They know that the tires are going to get reset here at the stage break. I do not believe anybody's going to stay out just because they can make it on fuel. They're going to continue to push. They're going to work hard. Mickey Sandera, P2. You see Jared Mann. He drives it in deep. He takes a look underneath. Sandera shuts the door, but he slides it up the track. Back down in front of Mann. Jared Mann biding his time. He's like the Pink Panther waiting in the wings. He's going to quietly try to make his move and take over this P2 position before the end of stage 1.
Continue to try to sneak his way carefully down underneath the 2. What he's trying to do, he's trying to see if he can get the 2 to overdrive, and that's going to open up the door on the bottom on that fresh reef. But he can get a little bit of clean air down there. It's going to help that truck rotate so much better, try to close more of the gap there. So you see him, how hard he is in the braking zone. There you go. You see him shade just a little bit further down in the 2 there in turns 1 and 2. Actually lost a little bit of ground that time. We'll see if maybe try to gather back up here, but he is so well getting into the braking zones here in these corners. You can see how much ground he closes. Look at how much he closes there. Oh, a little bit of a high there, a little too high there, but he just closes with so much speed. He's maximizing the braking zones with everything he can, and he's been consistently able to get that truck to almost do the diamond technique on that fresh repave, but he just gets so much ground going into these corners. You see right there. A little bit of a fade up there with a 2, trying to get the truck turned back down with that clean air, trying to go run down the 2 of Mickey Sandera as we have 3 laps to go here in this first stage.
pushing hard. Great view at the back. You can see just how hard Jared Mann's driving it in. But look, Mickey Sendera gets the rotation. He's not getting flustered, and he gets the drive off. This time, he pushes up again. Jared Mann a little bit lower. He cannot get the drive off. He's trying to get Mickey to make a mistake on entry, but so far, everybody's been very well behaved. It's interesting as you watch Jesse Sperling in tow here. He has to check up every time that Jared Mann goes in super deep. You can watch him. It's the accordion effect. On a short track, there's no choice. But again, all this happening behind Caleb Sibbett as they're going to roll towards the end of the stage here. Here's a battle a little bit farther back in the pack.
Yeah, we got a battle between the 98 of Thaddeus Friel and the 93 of Burt Wojcik. These two have been side by side for a couple laps. I've been watching over here on the timing sheet. These guys have continued to trade spots, staying side by side for the past 5 laps. You saw Burt Wojcik get a little loose, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be the stage. Your top 5: Caleb Sibbett, Mickey Sendera, Jared Mann, Jesse Sperling, and Derek Grigsby got that last and final stage point.
What an exciting first stage. Just want to call out real quick. Most guys stayed pretty much where they started. Not a lot of movement in stage 1, except Jerry McKinney. Jerry McKinney in that 18 truck started P19 up to P13, so plus 6 spots. But end of stage 1 means Vickers Auto Part stage winner. Vickers is a business of Jesse Sperling's granddad, Bub Vickers. Started up in the 50s. New and used parts for all makes and models. Price as used, good as new. Located at 914 South Alabama Boulevard, Highway 221, Chesney, South Carolina. And they ship anywhere in the country. Call them at 864-461-2621. Vickers Auto Parts, your stage win sponsor. And speaking of stage win, we will talk to our stage winner after he completes his pit stop here. Tony Sibbett says, "That's my boy." Tony, there's something to be proud of. And we're going to be sure to give him a little bit of grief here at the end of the stage because, Michael, he said not to expect him to be up here.
Yes, I think we've had that a couple times with a couple drivers. A lot of these tracks these guys don't end up liking. They end up doing quite well, winning a stage or two, maybe even getting a race win. So always a good feeling when maybe you come to a place that you don't necessarily feel the greatest at and you end up having a great day. We'll watch on here for the race off pit road, try to see if he can hold on to that #1 spot here. And he will, but let's try to see if we can grab our stage winner, Troy.
All right, we're going to see if we can get our Vickers Auto Parts Stage 1 winner, Caleb Sibbett. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, you said not to expect to see you up here, and here you are 30 laps into the race, winning Stage 1. If that's not being up front, can you explain to me what we just saw?
I guess if you respect the track enough, then it might forgive you in some cases. So, of course, off that restart, got a good jump. They were battling side by side, got a good little lead, and honestly started getting the feel for it. So, I think it's not day of what we first discussed. I'm feeling pretty good now.
All right, well, it looked really good. Just want you to know, Tony says that's my boy, so I think he's pretty proud out there in that Stage 1 performance. You guys are doubled back up here. Best of luck the rest of the way, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Stage 1 Vickers Auto Parts winner, Caleb Sibbett. A little bit different tone there, Michael.
Definitely sounded a little bit more pep in his step than when we first talked to him here at the start of this race. And as long as he stays in that spot, I guarantee you it'll get better and better as we can walk through the night.
Nothing cures a mood like being out front. And I think Caleb Sibbett, every lap he is out front, is going to feel better and better now. It's going to be all about the restart, like you said, Michael. He's going to have to be gentle on the throttle, but also elbows up. He's obviously got the preferred groove heading into the corner as long as Mickey Sendera doesn't shoot around him. We'll see. Mickey Sendera fought really hard to stay on the outside last time. The green is back out. Stage 2 is underway. We're going to lap 90.
Here we go, back green, a little bit longer of a stage here. We're going to be 60 laps green flag racing here, so still enough fuel to make it towards the end of this stage, but we're going to see how far that tire fall off is going to be. You see Sid with a great launch there, able to go ahead and get that top spot back. Behind them, though, is right back to the battle we spoke earlier. The 2 and the 26 will go right back at it with each other again. The Grigsby actually gets around the 5, the 5 of Grigsby gets around the 29 of Sperling right there. These two still side by side. Sendera on the high side, Jared on the bottom side. We've said it before. We're going to see how long it takes these two to get it settled again. This is what was able to get Sibbett that lead originally in that first stage. We're going to see, there we go. You're going to see the 26 actually concede that spot to the 2, I believe. The 2's going to fall right in line. They're not going to let Civic get too far away this time as they get that sorted out nice and quick.
Getting it sorted out nice and quick. You see Jesse Sperling was stuck on the top side of here. We're going to see Joshua Baker underneath him. Can Sperling get there? No, the freight train is running down low. Sperling way up high to try to get a run out of the corner. Side by side with Joshua Baker still. All of this happening around P4, P5. Looking, Baker underneath Sperling. You can see Duna waiting in the wings. Patrick Schaefer gets it in deep behind Duna. All of this happening behind the top 4 trucks. The top 4 have gone single file. And now Sperling almost got it, but now Duna's underneath him. Duna pushing underneath. He's got the repave. Duna, Sperling out of the corner.
You saw Duna try to get a little bit more of that diamond and keep Jesse off of that fresh repave. He wants it all to himself, doesn't want to let Jesse get anything he wants, but Jesse able to get the run out of the corner, clears the 14, and now he's going to finally get his tires on that fresh repave. He's going to go right back to work. He fell all the way to P6. We saw him all the way up to P3 a little bit there earlier in this race. He's got a little bit of work to do ahead of him and some fast trucks he has to go past to get back to where he was.
A lot of work to do when you fall back just a couple spots. Passing is going to be at a premium, Michael. We've seen it already just through the first stage. Everybody wants that bottom side. It's almost like you had predicted exactly how it was going to go. Everybody fighting for that repave. As we take a look back here, Joey Creech working through the field just in front of Patrick Schaefer. Again, everybody right there. Michael, where are you going to make a pass if you have to make one? It seems like the only place to be is on the repave. How are you going to get around somebody?
I kept trying to think about that the more we've seen these guys is getting there at the bottom, and I think it's kind of what you saw Jared Mann do, but I think it depends on the situation you're in. You can obviously get on the high side, maybe try to generate something, but we haven't seen it really be effective here, and if anything, it's just going to hurt your tires even more, put you in a worse spot if you don't get that pass done very easy. So, I mean, just everything we've seen tonight, I think your only choice is you're going to have to eventually move somebody. If they're holding you up, you're going to have to either try to make them overdrive a corner and make a mistake, or you're going to have to feed them a little bit of the bumper. You're going to have to encourage them to get out of your groove. I mean, there's no advantage to getting up out of the groove. We haven't really seen it work at all in this race. Everything has been on the bottom on that repave, which is what we thought was going to happen. So I think we're going to have a couple moments maybe later in this race where if you start catching these guys, maybe a little bit fresher tires, a little bit more speed, they're going to use that front bumper, and they're going to encourage these guys to get up out of their way.
Michael's calling for a little bumper love here at Milwaukee. It's going to be exciting as we look up just in front of that shot. You see Sperling now underneath Joshua Baker. Joshua Baker out of that repave. Sperling gets a good drive. Baker has the momentum on the high side. They're almost side by side. Baker slightly clear, but Sperling's going to get a run down into the corner. Baker gets just a little bit of the repave. Now he's out of the repave. Jesse trying to push him up out of there. Jesse trying to get a run. He gets a good run, but again, still fresh enough tires for Joshua Baker to get a drive off the high side by side, into the corner. What's going to give?
We have to see which one gives first. Jesse Sperling is trying everything he can to keep Joshua off of that fresh repave down there. You see these two side by side. It's going to help Jesse. The closer he gets side by side or ahead going into the corner, that's going to play the better hand for him. You can see the 58 is actually going to concede, try to fall back in line here for a crossover. Nope, going to think better of it. The 58 is going to give up the spot to get back in line and try to save those tires for a little bit later in this run. So a good move, in my opinion, I think, on the 58. You don't want to concede a spot, but you don't want to hurt the truck and trying to hold out that spot, that one spot there when you have especially a line behind you, where if you continue to try to get up on that high side and make the groove, you're going to lose more and more spots and put your tires in a worse spot here.
Gotta be there again at the long run. Gotta be there at the end. Gotta first finish to finish first. Everybody now, again, falling back single file. Line. Racing. Nose to tail. Like a choo-choo track going down the train. The trucks of the HPRL Truck Series are ripping around Milwaukee. The old Milwaukee line, as you see Sperling starting to put a little pressure on Grigsby. Grigsby working really hard to hold that bottom line, Michael. He had an extra low exit just to make sure that he didn't give Sperling a run on that bottom side. Sperling's going to close it all the way down over the yellow line.
Jesse Sperling is knocking on the door of the 5's tailgate. He's letting him know he's there in a hurry. We're going to see if Grigsby's going to try to block it. That's a better move than what I thought. You saw Jesse Sperling get such a run in the braking zone going in there. I thought he was going to go ahead and put the bumper to the 5. The 5's going to actually go for the crossover here. Let's see if he was able to get the run. He's not able to. So Jesse Sperling is able to get that spot. Maybe the 5 pushed a little bit too hard. They would keep an eye on and see if maybe he fades a little bit more. But Jesse Sperling back on a rail trying to work himself back up there. You saw him just close super fast on the 5. We thought there was going to be contact. Able to keep it clean, able to get around him, and Jesse Sperling continues to march on. He'll now be P4 chasing down Jared Mann in P3.
We're about ready to call for the Rusty's bumper ointment, but they kept it clean. Grigsby conceded it. You can see Sperling already starting to put a gap on him. As we look back a little bit farther in the field, we can see some more movers and shakers. Ooh, a little wall tap there for Jerry McKinney. He seems to love to use that wall to get a drive off the corner. We'll see if that hurts him. Again, this battle happening a little bit farther back in the field around the P12 area, but a great look at all the drivers here. As you see Thaddeus Friel, Jason Baker. I believe Jason Baker still laps down from that earlier wreck. We also see, the one of Taylor Locklear hanging around there. I think Christopher Hockley might be around there. All of this happening throughout the field. Guys trying to get one position at a time. We'll see if any bumpers get used, Michael, because I think guys are sick of seeing the truck tailgate in front of them. I
agree. I think we may see it right here with this battle, Jason. But you are right. Jason Baker is a lap down. I thought he was going to get the wave around on that last caution. We saw him stay out. Maybe he had to go pit for some damage. Maybe he went back a lap down. But he is a lap down, trying to work his way back up here. You see him get around the 98 of Thaddeus Field, and that is the one of Locklear behind these guys, sitting P13. So not exactly where he needs to be quite yet. You know he's going to try to get up some stage points. He's still racing around these guys here on the cut line around him. The 93 and the 18 right behind him is who he's kind of racing around that cut line. So he's going to try to make sure that he stays ahead of those guys throughout this race, and definitely towards the end of this race. He wants to finish ahead of them, trying to build a little bit more of a buffer inside that cut line.
Every point matters. That cut line's going to start to glow brighter and brighter as each race clicks off the schedule here in season number 6. For reference, 2 laps down. That's what Jason Baker was. So he did get the wave round with 1 lap down. Now he was 2 laps down from the earlier incident. Now back to 1 lap down. We get a great view here coming down the straightaway. You can just see the trucks exit the corner and rip on down single file. Joey Creech here looking to track down Emil Duna. Duna sees him just hanging out there. Patrick Schaefer and Christopher Hockley right behind there. But great look at Joey Creech as he heads off into the corner now with Patrick Schaefer and Christopher Hockley in tow.
Yeah, we're trying to look around, trying to see if we can find really anything going on. Not really finding a lot to see. A lot of these guys are all single file around this racetrack. I can see a little bit of side by side back here between the 1 and the 18 and the 9 of this. So we have the one right there. You see Locklear trying to work underneath the 98 of Thaddeus Field, excuse me. Those red trucks kind of threw me off a little bit there. You see the one of Locklear trying to work on the 98 of Thaddeus Field there ahead of him. This right now for P12. You see right behind him the 18 of Jerry McKinney, who is behind Taylor Locklear. And behind these two should be the 93 of Bert Wojcik. It is. You see the 93 right there. The 3 of Seth Owens working underneath on that fresh repave underneath the 93. Who's actually up in that high groove. I don't know if he meant to be up there or maybe he got stuck up there. But you see the 93 trying to work on that high line, trying to see what he can find behind this group. The 12 of Chris Griffin sitting P17. And the newcomer tonight, the 10 of James Dubose in P18 is a little bit off the pace, but he's kept that truck clean. We'll try to see, maybe he's just trying to figure it out still. Obviously, it's hard to adjust to new races around you, and obviously a hard track that maybe not a lot of people come to practice and race at.
Not a lot of racing. I do not believe the HPRL Truck Series has been here for a points-paying event. At least that is what my research tells me. So it's going to be exciting as you see here the battle between Baker and Torrey, not for position, but they're battling nonetheless on the track. I want to go back to Seth Owens for just a second, Michael, if we can, and get a good look at that 3 truck, because if my eyes don't deceive me, I'm surprised they allowed this truck on the track. A purple truck in Wisconsin, it makes my heart warm, but I cannot believe the fans allowed that truck to show up on the track tonight.
I agree. I know you're a Minnesota man yourself out here in Packer country, so the Cheesehead is probably not too thrilled to see it, but I think as long as it doesn't have anything related to the V word, shall we say, around here, I think they'll be fine with it. You see the JMU Bulldog machine out here with the 3 of Seth Owens representing that school there of James Madison University. But like I said, I think as long as it doesn't have anything to do with that team over there in Minnesota, I think they'll let it fly.
Well, the only V word that matters right now is victory, and right now Caleb Sibbett with over a second lead is looking to claim that victory. Yes, we're only in stage 2, a long ways to go, still over 30 laps to go here in this stage, but what a heck of a start for Caleb Sibbett. I think it's over 1.3 seconds now. You'll see the ticker as it goes across here in just a moment, but Caleb is just clicking off the laps one after the other. The two of Mickey Sundera still sitting second. Jared Mann, the 26, sitting P3. Ooh, a little slide off the corner there. That's a little bit of excitement coming out of the corner. But everything up front is pretty well settled down. Pretty good gaps between first, second, third, fourth, fifth, even back to sixth. Once you get back to sixth with Emil Duna, you start to see him and Joshua Baker a lot closer side by side. Oh no, is Baker going to get hung up on the outside? Is the old Milwaukee line going to roll down the tracks? It looks like it creased now underneath. Michael, here's the battle on the track right now.
Yeah, great battle. I think maybe the only battle we see right now, everybody's single file. Great to see some fresh action going on right here. And you see it's about a 4 or 5 car battle going on. Duna's going to clear the 58. We'll see the 62 accretes, how hard he's going to defend that bottom line down there, trying to keep the 58 on the outside. You actually see the 58, I think a little bit of a wiggle there. You can see just how much speed he gives up being on that higher line. You see the 62 is going to clear. The 15 of Hockley is now going to be inside him. He's going to dive there into that fresh repave. The 58 is just going to have to try to chop off the nose of the 51 to get back down there. He is. He's going to try to go maybe for a little bit of a crossover move. I think he left a little bit early, but you see the 51 is Schaefer behind him. He's going to try to be the next one to capitalize here on the 58. The 58, we see Joshua Baker usually try to get up there on that high line, try to start experimenting maybe a little bit out of the tire saving or the preferred groove. He tries to experiment, and sometimes it pays off, but sometimes you get a little bit of a track like this where it's really no payoff, no way that's really going to help you if you go from that high groove, especially when you're this far back with so much dirty air. It's hard to run the same spot behind everybody over and over again. You try to do something different, which is not a bad thing. You know, you want if you find some speed somewhere, you want it. You have to continue to search for speed. Where is it? Where can I find it? What's the little advantage that I can use later in this race? You know, if he maybe feels tight down there on the bottom of the racetrack, he thinks maybe it's a little too rubbered up. Maybe he's trying to go up there, trying to find some clean asphalt that maybe doesn't have a lot of rubber in it, that's still able to get him some rotation in the truck. But we see him has fallen all the way back right now to P9 on the fringe of the top 10 with Patrick Schaefer, the next one behind him. You see 85 Jason Baker behind him. So that is not for position, but he is continuing to try to march his way up to the front and try to get that last lap back and beyond the lead lap.
Joshua Baker lets Jason underneath. He's lucky he didn't open the door for Schaefer right there too. Schaefer still trying to close in. Things are getting tight. Speaking of tight, the battle for P2 is tight here as Jared Mann has closed in on Mickey Sundera. You're going to watch them battle down the straightaway. No space in between them as they head off into the corner. Mickey Sundera roping that repave. Jared Mann is able to get a little bit lower. Michael, let's see. Does Jared do the same thing he did last stage? Try to drive it in deep and get Mickey to shuffle. We should be under 10 laps to go in this stage. So it's going to be a 9-lap shootout as we watch Jared Mann battling Mickey Sundera for P2.
Watching on here, you still see the two trying to battle hard, keeping the dirty air on the nose of the 26. You see once again Jesse Sperling behind these guys. Actually a little bit further of a gap than what we saw in that last stage. It's about half a second to 3/4 of a second around that window there. So not right up to pounce if they make a mistake, but obviously you see the 26 right on the back bumper of the 2. He's going to continue to try to do, I think he's going to try to keep doing that, shade a little bit lower, get that cleaner air, just try to get a little bit more rotation than the 2 and try to get any bit of a run he can to where maybe he try to get on the inside. If he can get a run to get on the inside corner panel of the 2, that's going to give him the right there on that bottom line, or he's going to continue to close it. We've seen him push so hard into the braking zones. He did it one more time right there to the 2. I actually think it hurts a little bit of his exit by how hard he charges into the braking zones, but I mean he's still trying to get a little bit of the air off the back of the 2. The draft is not huge here, but it's something that can be beneficial.
It can be beneficial. Dirty air can also not be your friend. Mickey Sundera maybe exit a little bit higher, a little bit earlier that time out of the corner. We're going to see if Jared Mann can capitalize. Again, about a truck length heading into the corner. Jared Mann right on his bumper, but Mickey gets in there just low enough that Jared can't get underneath. He's got nowhere to go. He can't go to the high side because he knows he's not going to be able to rip it around there, at least not this early in the race. It's not worth the risk at this point in time. He dives it in one more time. Mickey Sendera, again, just shades low enough to block off the air for Jared Mann. Now they exit the corner down the straightaway. Over and over again, Michael, there is nothing more frustrating than being stuck behind somebody, thinking or knowing you're faster and nowhere to go.
It's absolutely infuriating, and you don't really want to put the bumper to somebody this early because you know if you get in that same spot later in this race, you're going to get it back. Maybe not in the same spot again, but if the 26 just put the bumper to the 2, moved him out of the way, and now he's racing side by side with the 2. If he doesn't, oh, you saw him actually give him a little bit there, a little bit of a left tap there from the 26. He's letting the 2 know he's there. These 2 are starting to get closer and closer. Jared is growing sick of it. You got to be careful though. If you make a mistake and you hurt that 2 truck, you better be ready for it to come back to you at the end of this race. He's played nice. He's been patient back here, but Jesse Sperling, you see him actually close back in on these 2. Jesse Sperling reeling them back in. I think the 26 sees that. He knows he's got to go, and he's tired of waiting.
Tired of waiting, indeed. And when you get frustrated, when you get infuriated, being stuck, staring at that same bumper, lap after lap, corner after corner, that's where the mental fortitude comes in. As you see, Jared Mann maybe has a peek. He takes a look. He's got the line going into the corner. Mickey Sendera doesn't even fight him. He concedes a spot, gets right back down to the repave, looks at the crossover, not there. Jared Mann up to P2.
Jared Mann takes the spot, able to get underneath the 2 like we were talking about. And he's able to get underneath him. That again gives him the ability to use that hard braking zone entrance that he's been doing for most of this race. Able to capitalize with that, able to use it to clear the 2. The 2 is not going to fight him. He's seen him all over his back bumper. He's going to say, all right, that's all good. Go chase down the 43. Go see what you can do. We still have about 23 laps to go here in this stage. If my numbers are right, we're racing 2 lap 90s, so that'll leave us 110 laps left to go at the end of this stage. So we continue to click off and work our way closer towards the end of the stage, Troy.
We'll see if Jared Mann can track down Caleb Sibbett. Now Jared Mann essentially has clean air, Michael. This is a chance for him to see what he has in the long run. Jared Mann, last year's Season 5 champion, he knows how to get done. 6 wins last year. This year, 1 win so far. He'd like to put a second notch on there. He's going to see if he can track down Caleb Sibbett here in the second stage. Michael, part of his approach last year was to be there in the long run. We'll see if that pays off. As we look back here to P5, that final stage point, you see Derek Grigsby right behind him. Joey Creech. Can Joey Creech reel in Grigsby for that final point?
Yeah, we've seen great battle right here. The 62 trying to work underneath the 5. Actually see him get all the way to the bumper there of the 5. Let's see if he loses anything on the exit. A little bit of the exit. I think a lot of these guys that are super good in the braking zones when you're in the corners actually giving up a little bit on the exits with what we continue to see. We saw it with Jared Mann and Mickey Sendera able to just completely close the gap super duper well, but gives up just a little bit man on the exit. I think these guys that are able to get the great exits are backing up that corner a little bit more, trying to roll some more speed in there, not so much trying to charge in there hard and use a lot of braking to get the truck slowed down. So 2 different driving styles that can both be beneficial and both be effective. Ooh, we saw 62. He's starting to roll right up there, the back bumper of the 5, going into 1 and 2. Maybe not as much in 3 and 4, but definitely in 1 and 2, able to close all the way to the back bumper of the 5.
Closing all the way in. He thought about the love tap, but he decided it's too early. I don't want payback later like you were talking about, Michael. Just a quick rundown. We have 17 trucks on the lead lap. Jason Baker 1 lap down. James DuBose, the 10 truck, his first night out. He has called it an evening. Must have been too much damage. He is disconnected, so a tough debut for the 10 of James DuBose. But here we look back and we start to see, again, some movers and shakers. 17 trucks on the lead lap. If Jason Baker can keep it clean, Michael, he'll get the wave around or the lucky dog, and he'll be back on the lead lap, and that'll put our entire field that's on the track back together. Fingers crossed. No cautions in the next 18 laps.
That's right. Nobody wants to see a caution. Yeah, they just want to go ahead and get to the end of this stage and not have to worry about pitting here at the end of this stage. If a lot of these guys, maybe in the back, will definitely do, but in the front, you kind of determine, do I want to waste a set of tires with only, with a little bit left to go in the stage? Obviously, it's 18 miles if we had it right now, but you start wanting to think, maybe do I want to save that for the end? Do I want to go ahead and throw that set on and then have another one at the end of the stage break? So something to keep on mind. I'll keep an eye on here as we get closer towards the end of this. Maybe we get the elusive yellow flag that we've only seen a couple times so far this race.
We shall see indeed. And the interesting part is why I bring up Jason Baker, for those that cannot see the data that we can see behind the scenes, the fastest 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40 lap averages, Jason Baker. Michael, if he gets back on the lead lap, it could be a very interesting stage 3. As we see some action. Ooh, I think that was Hockley. I don't think that was a scheduled slide into pit road. Unfortunately, sliding into pit road is going to keep us under green. There's not going to be a caution.
Trying to see if we can catch what happened there. I don't know if maybe he was trying to flip the stage and do something creative here. We'll try to see if we can catch a look at that real quick. Not what the 15 had in mind. He didn't stop. I think he just slid it in there, Troy.
I think he just slid in, maybe trying to minimize the damage after that. Let's see here. You get a good view. It just breaks loose, maybe? He was pointed there, but that's a hard call.
I think he is. I want to see the hands. I think he's loose in the middle of this corner. He just carries momentum, trying to see if he can get it straightened up with some throttle. Here we go. Let's listen to him. Yep. So you saw him. He's trying to feed a little bit of throttle, trying to get that truck to straighten up. You saw a little bit more RPM, trying to get it to carry the momentum and just get it straightened back out. And ultimately, it just slid all the way. Saved on the pit road. So obviously, if there was a place to do it, you didn't get that concrete barrier we see right here at the front, able to get his way onto pit road and maybe not lose too much. But he is in the pit lane.
Yep. Quick repair item. That's what I'm going to guess if he has one sitting there. I know he was caught up in an earlier incident, so he might not have one. But all of this, as we're winding down and we start to see, Michael, the gap between Sibbett and Mann has shrunk considerably.
It has about 5/10 within the last, I believe, 7 laps around that. So Jared Mann continued to put great laps back to back to back to back, starting to close in on the 43. You starting to wonder again, is the 43 starting to play a little bit of a game? Maybe he saved a little bit when he had that gap, starting to roll back to 26, try to get him to push, but ultimately it just depends on if he's had that, or maybe he's used it all up trying to continue to push. But the way the time is falling, I think he may have used a little bit. Jared Mann's closing in a hurry. He's all the way down to 2.5 tenths. He's starting to reel in that 43 machine.
Sibbett, the first time he's been under pressure really since the drop of the green flag, minus a couple restarts. This is the closest somebody's been this deep into the run. It's going to be exciting here as we're winding down with about a dozen laps to go in this stage. Caleb Sibbett, ooh, a wiggle off the corner, Michael. He's starting to really dance it coming out of the corners.
He's starting to see that 26 in his mirror. He sees how well he's been closing these corners. Look how close he gets right there. We'll try to see if we can catch off the back lid of this real quick. I want to see this view. You'll see if Sibbett's able to get a little bit of a gap. Just watch at how much Jared Mann's going to close here going into turn 3. Not as much as I thought he would. Let's see if he goes for a little bit more here in turn 1. You see Sibbett able to get on the throttle, try to get away. He's pushing every bit of it that he can. You can feel that truck wanting to slide. We've still got 10 laps to go here in this stage. Here we go. We'll see how close Jared closes in on him. Almost to the back bumper. He's continually there hard in those braking zones. So he's got the momentum. Let's see if he's able to make a run and get to the inside here. Not quite. He's going to settle back in line. Continue to roll on behind the 43 here.
Great battle for the lead. This is what we came to Wisconsin for. We came to see them duking it out. Now you see Jared Mann almost slide it through the corner, but he gets it pointed down low. Is he going to get the quarter panel? He's looking underneath Sibbett. Sibbett's not going to get there. Jared Mann to the point. We got a new leader.
Get ready for a crossover. Oh, no, he hides the crossover. He did the right move. He didn't let the 43 of Sibbett get down for the crossover. Actually kept him up in that high groove. That's going to hurt Sibbett. That's going to hand the spot to the 26. We saw the 26 fight for that spot. He did the smart move. He didn't immediately clear. He actually, I think, stalled a little bit trying to hold up that 43 on that high line. The 43 was like, that's fine. I'll give it to you here on the bottom. I'm going to do the crossover and try to do the exact same thing you just did to me. Jared Mann, I think, checked up just a little bit or held that line there a little bit longer, not letting the 43 get back down to that fresh repave to get the truck turned back down.
Don't give them the line they want. That's the key. Jared Mann now on point, leading Caleb Sibbett. Caleb Sibbett going to try to get that back, but it might be all in vain here in stage number 2. Mann up front, Sibbett second, Mickey Sendera hanging back in third, and then in fourth, Jesse Sperling. Joey Creech rounding out your top 5. That would be your stage points if it ended now. But it doesn't end now. We still got a few more laps to go to settle stage number 2 here at Milwaukee. Jared Mann, Caleb Sibbett. Caleb Sibbett not really falling back, Michael, still hanging around.
Yeah, Caleb Sibbett not completely falling off the charts, but you can see it's already grown to about a 3:10 gap right there. I'm looking behind the 2 of Sandera. He's also kind of hanging steady around that gap of 1.1 second. Not making huge leaps and bounds to the 43 or to the 26. So something to keep an eye on. Maybe if the 43 starts to fade, the 2 may be able to grab him for another P2 here towards the end of stage number 2. But we'll something to keep an eye on. But all in all, you see the 43 still trying to get on that bottom line, trying to get anything it can back to the 26, trying to put some pressure, maybe try to get to the inside, maybe a dive bomb that he saw happen to him.
We will see what happens. Christopher Hockley is 8 laps down now for those trying to keep track. So he did not have a fast repair left. So unfortunate break for Mr. Hockley. But up front, Jared Mann, Caleb Sibbett, they're going to duke this out for about 5 more laps around the Milwaukee Mile. Man, just slow and steady. Caleb Sibbett got his legs back underneath him, going to try to track him back down. Maybe he saved a little bit. We'll find out. Mickey Sundera trying to wait in the wings, see if he has anything left for the top 2 as we close out stage number 2. It's going to be go time right now.
Yeah, we're starting to wind down. The guys are already starting to figure out, all right, how do I want to go ahead and start preparing for stage 3? You got to finish stage 2 first, but we're not seeing a lot of battles other than the one up here. The one up front is the closest one. Looking at the speed, looking over at the timing table, Jesse Sperling is still about a 1.5 seconds away from P3, which is the 2 of Sundera, and behind him, it's 4 seconds back to Joey Creech. A second behind him, 3 seconds behind that one. I mean, there's no one really super duper close. The closest one I see right now is right here for P9 between the 51 of Patrick Schaefer and the 1 of Taylor Lockley. That's really the only battle we have going on with guys around each other for positions, Troy.
For position, I am interested to see if the leaders track down Seth Owens. Seth Owens, currently the last truck on the lead lap, about 29 seconds, give or take, behind the leaders, which means that he's just a few seconds ahead of the leaders. That matters to Jason Baker. Jason Baker wants to get his lap back, so we're going to see who can hang on to the lead lap, who's going to get the lucky dog. Wave around is great, but wave around doesn't give you a chance to pit, Michael.
That's right. If you get the wave around, it doesn't give you a chance to be able to put you on the lead lap, then you're going to be at a big disadvantage, especially with how much green flag racing we've seen. You actually pulled up the track map for you. If you look, coming down the left side of that oval right there, you see the 3, that golden 3 of Seth Owens. Behind him, the 26 of Jared Mann, immediately closing on him in a hurry, and right ahead of me, you see the 18 of McKinney there on that little track map in your bottom right corner of the screen. A little visual to try to help you visualize just how far spread these trucks are around this racetrack. No one's really close. Everybody's pretty spread out. The battle up front is still pretty close. You see right here the ticker, it's about 9/10, so it's about a second now for Jared Mann continue to pull away. And I think, actually, Mickey Sundera's close. Let's go check in for the battle for P2. Yes, the 2 of Sundera right on the back bumper of the 43, Troy.
And the caution is out. It seems like that should be a little early, Michael, but it probably will be the end of the stage. We will see if we can find out, because there's 1:10 to go right now.
That should be correct. We ended at lap 90, so we had 110 to go.
Right.
So that does sound correct, yes.
All right. Woo. Stage break, which means our Vickers Auto Part stage winner, the 26 of Jared Mann. Vickers is a business of Jesse Sperling's granddad, Bub Vickers, started up in the 50s. New and used parts for all makes and models. Priced as used, good as new. Located at 914 South Alabama Boulevard, Highway 221, Chesney, South Carolina. And they ship anywhere in the country. Call them at 864-461-2621. Vickers Auto Part, your stage win sponsor. Well, Michael, as if that wasn't enough fun, we're not even halfway done yet.
That's right. Still plenty of time and plenty of room for error in this race. Plenty of aggression starting to ramp up. You saw it towards the end as Jared Man's going to win the race off pit road. You see right here as they come past our screen. But no, I agree. Like I said, last stage is when you really start to see the gloves come off, especially if we get a caution late in this race. So if we get green flag runs, which we always talk about that green flag pit stop, I'm hoping we get to see. But if we don't, and we end up getting that yellow maybe in the middle of the stage, I expect to see a huge amount of aggression for these guys, pushing for every spot they can as we start to get towards the end of this race here at the Milwaukee Mile.
It'll be exciting indeed. And with that, we're going to see if we can go ahead and grab our Stage 2 winner. Jared Mann, you got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Well, you just plugged away there, bided your time, reeled in Caleb Sinnott, and took over the point. What was the key there for that win?
You know, I had to be patient. You know, Mickey and Caleb were quick early on, and just, yeah, had to sit and wait. You know, I was stuck behind Mickey for a while there, but just had to be patient and play my cards right. So it worked out in the end. You know, I know they were kind of gave it to me a little bit, both of them on the passes. So I assume it'll get harder here in the last stage.
Well, more than halfway to go. You're doubled up. You're going to go back to green. Best of luck the rest of the way, sir.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your Stage 2 Vickers Auto Parts winner, the 26th of Jared Mann. He's now got that repave, Michael, tucked in behind that pace truck. Now he can set the cadence that he wants. He doesn't have any dirty air in front of him. But Mickey Sandera restarting on the outside. He's getting pretty comfortable on that outside, Michael.
I agree. It seems like the two just can't seem to get away from this outside groove on the outside of this 26. So we'll see what he's able to do as we go to green here. The 26 is going to get a great jump. Jared Mann clearing away. Mickey Sandera is actually going to finally get his first shot. We're taking a restart there on that repave as he'll settle in P2 as they roll out of turn 2. The 26 with the lead.
The 26 with the lead as they get settled in here in stage number 3. We're going to stop talking. We're going to turn up the volume, and we're going to let you crank it up here at Milwaukee. track, great sounds. I agree with you, Abby Payne. It's racing ASMR. It is a great thing to hear the sound of race trucks ripping around here at Milwaukee, the HPRL Truck Series. You saw a great look at Jesse Sperling there. Jesse Sperling, during that crank it up section, had a little bit of a wild ride, got loose, fell back into the field, currently running P10, so he's got some work to do to make up some ground. But all of this, and we're just reaching halfway now, Michael.
Yeah, only halfway in. We've seen plenty of chaos, plenty more to come. We think you see the 51 of Patrick Schaefer pushing hard behind the 58 of Joshua Baker. This little pack right here working hard. Right now, your leader still the 26 of Jared Mann, the 43 of Caleb Sibbett, 3/10 off, closing a little bit there in the braking zone. We'll actually try to get the ticker back up for you to try to bounce around here. A lot of action more towards the middle rear of this pack, as you see right here. The 1, the 29, the 51, all in this 3-car battle amongst themselves. The one of Lockley is going to get through, and Sperling, I would think, would here on the bottom to see if Schaefer just tries to get settled back in that bottom group. He will. He's going to give it up and try to get right back down to that bottom group.
Schaefer gives up a couple spots, gets back down in front of the 74, Brian Torrey. Great give and take, long run. Again, have to be there at the end. Smart moves make a race. Pushing too hard, too early can put you in a bad spot. It's going to be important to keep those tires underneath you. Again, 75 to 80 laps of fuel is what we estimate. We still have 98 to go. That means we're going to see pit stops. The question is going to be, are they under green or are they under caution? It's all in the hands of these drivers as we continue to watch them rip around the 1 mile track here in Milwaukee. Great view of the 14 at Emil Duna, the 58 of Joshua Baker, Taylor Locklear in the 1. And again, Jesse Sperling trying to work his way back up after a little bit of run. You see him duck down low. He's looking underneath Taylor Locklear as they head off into the corner. He's going to have the preferred groove, drives it in deep. He is going to have the position question mark. Locklear pushing hard on the outside.
Yeah, we saw Locklear putting all the power down he could on that high line, and able to hold side by side. I think Jesse's going to get him this time down here. You see the 58 of Joshua Baker continues to run all the way up on that higher groove. Actually only has his left side tires on the fresh repave. So curious to see maybe how that affects him later in this run, a little bit later here. As he continues to run that higher groove, you'll see him just ahead. He's going to go low here in 1 and 2, close right to the bumper of the 14, who's right on the bumper of the 5. So these three right here all chained together. The 5 of Derek Grigsby with the Emil Duna right behind him, trying to work his way around to see if Duna's able to get all the way down to that fresh asphalt. There you go. You see him a little bit up there. 58 right behind him, tight racing around this, and Jesse Sperling is just trying to figure out the quickest way to get past these guys and go right back up, chasing down the leaders.
Chasing them down again, one by one. When you have a preferred groove, it's hard to make the passes. When the tires go away, you have to make the passes early. Yes, you can hope guys fall off, but look at the gaps already starting to build throughout the field. You can see the gap out in front of Grigsby. These guys look like they're all tight together, but they've got a gap ahead of them. It's almost 2 seconds from Grigsby up to Joey Creech in P4. That's how much ground this group has. So they got a great battle going on themselves, but these front four checked out. It doesn't look visually that far, but boy, Michael, does it take a lot to make up that ground on a 1 mile track.
It does, especially once you begin to lose it. I mean, we saw when Sibbett was able to pull away, we saw the 2 and the 26 continue to battle. Once he pulled away, it's so hard to get back time that you give away for free. It's just not easy to go track down cars and track down positions to go get them back. So once you give them away, then it's really hard. You almost have to go, you have to decide, am I going to push harder here on my tires to go try to make up the ground that I lost? Or am I just going to hope that the guys up there make the mistake of overdriving it or come back to me, then open back up the window to go try to get the spot back, or get the time back, rather.
Getting the time back, you just saw Jesse Sperling pushing hard underneath Joshua Baker. That gets him up to P7. He's going to put Duna in his sights next. Emil Duna, the 14, the next one in front of the 29 of Jesse Sperling. Here's a battle now. Locklear looking underneath Joshua Baker. That one truck drives it in hard on the low side. Joshua Baker not going to roll over. He's pushing it hard on the top side. Michael comes back down into that repave side by side. Locklear pushes up. Baker gets a little bit of momentum blocked off, but he's still outside Locklear as they head off into the corner.
Yeah, Joshua Baker, excuse me. Joshua Baker loves being in that higher groove. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain that, but I do want to draw your attention, as I said his name on accident. Jason Baker's all the way up to P11. So we saw him get back on the lead lap here. He has marched his way up towards the top 10. He's looking to try to get to Schaefer to get into the top 10. He'll keep an eye on that as they continue to roll on. Lockley is going to clear the 58. Schaefer's going to try to do the same thing here. We'll see if the 58 stays on that higher groove. Maybe he settles down into the repave. There you go. You see the 58 is going to be able to get on that repave. And the one actually overdrove it. He got out of it. He's got up into the old surface. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that run. The 58 should have a good run out of the corner here. A little bit of a wiggle. Lost a little bit of ground there.
If you run where the others are, you can't get around them. That's one school of thought. Go somewhere that they're not. Another school of thought is there's a reason nobody else is running that high side. Joshua Baker trying to be methodical, make it work when he can. As we start to watch a battle brewing up a little bit farther ahead, you saw Emil Duna take a look underneath there. Grigsby wasn't able to put it there. Duna loose off the corner. Loose. He's going to give up some momentum. Jesse Sperling not able to close a ton, but he's gained some ground. Now he's reeling in Duna while Duna's trying to reel in Grigsby.
Duna's pushing hard, trying to get as much of a diamond effect that he can there on that fresh repave. You see him trying to get all the momentum he can. He was consistently looking a little bit faster than the 5. Just got stuck behind him. He's trying to push even harder. He sees Jesse Sperling coming. He knows he wants to get ahead of him. We see him way out of the groove there. Way up onto the old surface. Probably got tight. He's still wiggling that truck. He is struggling to put the power down. It's going to open up the door for Sperling. You see him shade inside. He's not going to let Jesse dive there on the inside and get the preferred line. He's just going to continue to fight hard, play that defensive tactic. You see him start to roll back to the bumper of the 5. I think if Duna gets to the bumper of the 5, he's not going to be patient. You see Sperling's going to go ahead. Let's see if he blocks it. Nope. Duna's going to let Sperling go on that bottom line. Sperling gets down there. Duna way up in the racing surface. He's going to try to do a big diamond, get a huge run here down the front stretch. We'll see if he gets clear the 1. He does. 29 clears the 14. The 14 now worried about the 1.
14's got the 1 in tow. Duna was so high, he was almost at the Canadian border, but he's back in tow now. Sperling, another position. Now he's going to track down Grigsby. Michael, I have to assume if Sperling was able to track down Duna and Duna is right on the bumper of Grigsby, I have to believe that Sperling's going to get to Grigsby and try to make short work of him, as short as he possibly can, because all of this is happening almost 5 seconds, 4.5 seconds behind your leaders.
I agree. I just don't think he's going to have the capabilities to push. You see him all the way almost on the apron right there trying to get underneath the 5. Jesse Sperling, he's trying to make super quick work of this, super aggressive there. You see he's probably going to shade to the inside. He will. He's going to set up for another dive bomb here underneath the 5. Let's see if he's able to get it done here. I think he will be. Rotates the corner there well. The 5's going to settle back in line. Maybe go for a crossover attempt here. Let's keep an eye open for it. Thanks.
There is the crossover attempt that you see as Sperling gets in front of Grigsby. Grigsby not able to complete the crossover. Sperling up another position, now in P5. Made up 5 positions from that wiggle after that restart. Now Sperling's got some real work to do. He's got 3.5 seconds, give or take, up to the 62 of Joey Creech in P4. That top 4, we haven't forgotten about him. It's just been quiet up there. Jared Mann up in front, 26. Mickey Sundera in P2 in the 2. Caleb Sibbett P3 and Joey Creech P4. And here's your 5th place truck, Jesse Sperling, and the battles that are happening deeper in the pack.
Looking a little bit further back here, you have the 85 and the 51. Jason Baker now back into the top 10. Back into the top 10. So he'll go around the 51 of Patrick Schaefer. He'll begin chasing down his brother there in the 58 of Joshua Baker. We'll see how long it's going to take him to run that back down. You see the group ahead of them with Jesse Sperling leading that group ahead of these guys right here, still in single file line. Nothing really going on right there. These guys can try to log laps. Looking a little bit further back, the 93 of Wojcik, the 18 McKinney. These two battling it out right now for P15. Christopher Hockley did retire Troy. I don't know if we pointed that out. I just want to make sure we circle back to it. Christopher Hockley did retire that truck. He is 26 laps down. He is done for the night.
Done for the night. He did get a wave round, but from 8 laps down to 7 laps down, just too much to be competitive. So unfortunate turn of events for the 15 of Christopher Hockley, as again we watch the battle here between the 93 of Burt Wojcik and the 18 of Jerry McKinney. Shout out in the chat for Jesse Sperling. They can see him making his move back up. Again, work to be done, but there's going to still have to be pit stops. So now, Michael, we start to talk about 110 laps here in this final stage. We know you have to stop. Do you split it in half? Do you short pit? Do you run it empty? What are these drivers thinking right now as they're clicking away the laps on the Milwaukee Mile?
So there's obviously, like you said, there's different ways you can play this. We know for sure you're going to need fuel at some point. It doesn't matter of, okay, when you get to a certain window, which we said was 75 to around 90-ish, for sure, around the 80 mark. It's a big window of you trying to play guess around. What are you going to get? We don't quite know on your fuel range, so you want to guess right if you're going to come in. And obviously, with iRacing's new update, it kind of has a fuel calculator to tell you when you need to pit to come get that last little bit of fuel. But it continues to adjust throughout the race. So if you try to, if you're backing off here on these tighter runs where you're not using as much fuel, then it may lie to you. It may make a little bit of that adjustment. It may just be just a lap off, and the lap off is going to be a big difference. But I think the best move per se to do is be the first one on pit road. Unless you're the leader, if you're Jared Mann, if you're Mickey Sundera, maybe the 43 is Sibit, you kind of are okay with maybe giving up if somebody outside this top 5 goes in. But if anybody in the top 5 goes in before you need to get down pit road immediately, not to sacrifice the time that you're going to lose those fresh tires. So, I mean, just thinking out loud, if I was 2 of Mickey Sendera, we haven't seen him really be able to close this gap entirely behind the 26 of Jared Mann. So if we get towards that window and that fuel window opens, I would want the 2 to be the first one to pit road, be the first one to get either 2 tires, 4 tires, get you plenty of fuel to pack that thing full for this race. Go ahead and get a lap on the 26 of fresher tires. That's going to be, we estimate, looking right now, the last lap for the 26 of Jared Mann was a 31.5. His best lap in this race was a 30.1. So a second and a half that you can gain off being the first one to pit road, getting those tires, which will make a big difference on trying to skip ahead of that guy off your pit strategy.
There's a saying, first to pit road, first to the finish line. That's usually a wise mantra. We believe the fuel window should now be open. Now is the time to see where strategy is going to play out. But most importantly, I'm going to call this out now before it happens. 45 miles an hour, Michael. They have to get it down to 45 miles an hour when they hit that pit road. Speeding in pit road could ruin any chances you have as we start to watch Mickey Sendera working on the back of Jared Mann.
And this is a tricky pit road to get onto. We're trying to see maybe we can catch somebody going into pit road. Maybe we're trying to see if we can catch a camera angle over there. It's such an odd pit road to get into. Let's see if we can find the entrance to pit road, not the exit of pit road. So it doesn't quite give the view quite of what I'm wanting to see there. But the entrance to pit road, it's a big veer in. So it's hard to really carry the momentum in the pit road because you're having to turn in. So if you try to lock the brakes going in, you may lock into the wall or the barrels, or you may just absolutely lock it up and go for that, take that truck for a spin inside pit road. That's a good view right there. You can see it's a big turn in there to pit road, and you have to be 45, not right when you turn in. It's a little bit after the fact. So you have room to try to push it if you're brave enough, but are we going to see somebody get a penalty speeding on pit road, sliding that box, those silly mistakes we talk about on pit road that you don't want to do? If you do great on the racetrack, don't hurt yourself on pit road.
It's amazing that as fast as these guys are ripping around this track, it could come down to the slowest part of the track, that 45-mile-an-hour pit road. It's going to be just as important to execute there as it has been for the 126 laps up to this point. Chat says Patches is calling for Sperling. I read Patches, and I think Patches O'Callahan. I'm wondering, are we playing dodgeball? Maybe we're going to be dodging trucks. Maybe we're going to be dodging speeding penalties. I don't know, but I know with 74 laps to go, this is going to be exciting to see who comes in, who stays out, and what strategy is ultimately the right call.
We definitely have plenty of time to see. I think if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a bumper, you can dodge mistakes on pit road. That's what we're hoping to see. You see Locklear get a little loose there out of turn 4. The 85 of Jason Baker starting to word on the 1 of Taylor Locklear, looking aggressive there on the inside. What a move there, the 85, looking inside the 1. Jason Baker trying to take away P8 underneath here. So you need to watch on. No one on pit road yet. I do have my eyes open trying to see. Actually, a we may have one. Let me try to see if I can catch it. Now I have Chris Griffin a lap down. He made this be a natural lap down, trying to catch and see when he last hit. He's holding. No, he is just a natural lap down, so he did not pit yet, but he is a lap down to 12. Chris Griffin, 1 lap down here.
Chris Griffin been riding around the high side, but letting the lead trucks go around. Maybe that's a strategy call. Maybe it's a hurt truck. We'll find out as this continues to unfold. Again, want to call out the 85 Jason Baker still continues to have the fastest long run averages. He did on the last stint. He does on this stint. The question is can he be close enough when it comes time for the pit calls to make it work in the long run? He's worked his way back up to P8 as Michael referenced, and he's trying to hunt down the 14 of Emil Duna right now for that P7 position. It's going to be entertaining. We got a lot of different things yet to play out with coming to 70 to go here in Milwaukee.
Definitely a cat and mouse game. The 85 right of the bumper there. The 14 you see doing get a little loose. We saw him get loose earlier trying to race Jesse Sperling, so may have hurt those right rear tire, hurt that right rear tire a little bit, trying to push hard, getting that truck to break loose, but he's still able to hold that defensive line there on the fresh repave, which is where you want to be. Let's see if the 85 is able to get a run. He is. So you can see, you can maybe make a pass on that higher line, but I think that's after a huge... Whoa! Duna with a big lockup. Trying to play hard defense, not able to do it. He's going to surrender a spot to the 1, I think, here. Duna had a big checkup right there. Going into the corner, almost lost it, able to hold on to it. Now he's side by side with the 1 of Taylor Locklear, who's out in the preferred lane. Here going into turn 1. The 12, Chris Griffin, trying to stay out of the way of all these guys. We might have 3 wide here in a second. We'll see. Don't think we're going to have it yet. Not yet. We'll see how Duna plays going into turn 3 here with 12 off the pace. Oh, had to check up. Griffin in the wall, trying to stay out of the way. You see the 12 up in the fence. The 14 and the 1 clear. They're still side by side racing each other hard.
Duna with a lockup like he's skating in wintertime, but it's summertime in Wisconsin, and he gets back down in front of the 1 of Taylor Locklear. Slides it back up. Michael, looks like he's just having maybe a little bit of a tough time keeping in that repave. Just carrying those right sides up. It's going to be welcome fresh tires when Duna pits.
I agree. Duna's going to be happy to have that fresh set put on there, depending on which way he wants to go. I think he's burned off the right front and maybe the right rear as well, which is just going to carry all that momentum of that truck up. It's not going to have any grip to kind of hold it on that line. He's going to continue to push all that momentum up and out of the groove, which is going to hurt him even more when he starts trying to turn it down or get it loose. You're able to hold it down there right there. He's just making that micro adjustment. When he's not able to push as hard as you want to on that repave, you got to start changing your line, changing your lifting point to where it fits comfortable back on that repave.
See where it feels comfortable out front. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Jared Mann with about a second lead over Mickey Sundera. As you see Duna wiggle there coming off the corner. A lot of excitement with not a lot of side-by-side racing. These drivers trying to battle these trucks, trying to figure out the strategy call. I guarantee you they want tires right now, but they're playing chess, not checkers. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the GOAT and who's going to be stuck in the locker, because all of this is going to wind out in the next 66 laps here at Milwaukee.
Yeah, waiting to see if somebody's going to call an audible here and try to change that play up, get off script. Who's going to be the first one to come to pit road? The stints right now are 44 laps. These guys have been here for 44 laps. We saw that pitted last at the end of that stage there at lap 90. So it's been a while since these guys have been to pit road, but I mean, we just don't see anybody who is really thinking about dipping down there yet. Haven't seen anybody come down pit road yet. They are in the window, 65 laps. They may not want to come yet just for tires' sake, which I can understand. Maybe they're trying to squeeze a little bit more life out of these tires, trying to make that last run a little bit shorter where they can push a little bit harder. And as I say that, we do have one on pit road. One of Taylor Locklear, first down.
The 1 is
Oh, he's still in the box. No!
Just like you talked about, Michael, have to make sure you get in clean, park it, and get out clean. We'll see if that hurts Taylor. I was about to say 110 laps in the final stage. 55 would be splitting it in half if my Midwestern math is correct. That means if you truly wanted to break it up, granted the first few laps were under caution, you'd be coming in with about 55 to go. Let's see if that's the strategy for the majority of the field, or if Taylor Locklear is Jared Mann. Ooh, I thought he was going to check up there. Is the move from Taylor Locklear to come in early going to be the key? I generally believe that the short pit is the good thing, but we're going to find out exactly how much that gained Taylor Locklear as he comes out and these other guys stay out maybe another 10 laps or so on older tires.
Yeah, we'll try to see how that one goes. I agree with you, Troy. I think the first one to pit road is the best spot to be. Obviously, you didn't want to slide the tires and hurt a little bit of time, but you're still going to have those fresher tires. The lap times have only gotten worse as I'm looking at the last lap times. Jared Mann, your leader, who's in the fastest truck on track, a 31.6. That's now 1.6 off of his fastest lap time. The two of Sundera, a 31.7. Civic, a 31.8. So, I mean, it's up to about 1.5 to 1 3/4 of a second if you put those sticker tires on. So I think we're going to see a huge shift as we have another one on pit road. 5 and Derek Grigsby, I believe, is taking his dive down the pit road. Try to see if we can get an eye on him here and make sure. Yep, the 5 in. Let's see him get his service. So right now, the only trucks who have pitted are the 1 of Locklear and the 5 of Grigsby. They are both a lap down. That's just because with being a shorter track, it's not going to have as much lap time to really make up that ground.
Indeed, we're going to see how this plays out. Now, again, with the other guys pit, they're going to gain the benefit of having those faster lap times again. They're going to gain that fresh tire advantage. But the question is, do they get to use it enough? There is a certain point where the fall off just equalizes the field. So when we're talking about first to pit road, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to pit road and try to get those fresher tires. And while these guys are getting slower, like Michael just said, great battle here on the screen in front of you. Joey Creech hits pit road as well. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain back as much of that time that you lose on pit road early. And you're trying to maximize the differential. As these guys stay out longer, you're theoretically going to make up more time. That's the strategy call you're trying to make, and then make sure that you have enough of a gap that when they hit pit road, you are ahead of them and able to keep that gap.
Agree. So kind of going to dive a little bit deeper into what you're talking about. So the only way you really, if you pit later, it kind of pays you a dividend is if you get that late race restart where you're going to have a little bit more grip once you try to cool the tires off in those caution laps. Once you get the tires up to temp, as we saw the 1 and the 5 come in for those early pit stops, they're clicking off lap times right now. The last lap for Derek Grigsby was a 31.6. The last lap for Jared Mann was a 31.9. So it's a 30.7 versus a almost 32. As I say, the 85 is going to come to pit road. But what it is as all the tires start to heat up, if they're all doing about the same thing, not being over aggressive and killing the tires, if they're all heat them up, being normal with it, doing what they're supposed to do, what it is, it's just Troy said, it levels off. So it's not a huge advantage later in the run by pitting later. So you kind of all blend to a similar time slot where you're not making up great chunks of time, unless the guys who pitted early were just super hard and super aggressive on those fresh tires they went and got.
Now the excitement's heating up. We start to see pit stops. Jason Baker, as you saw, and Michael mentioned, on pit road. Again, Jared Mann choosing to stay out, at least for the time being. In the 26, he's out front. The 2 of Mickey Sundera, almost a second and a half back. So quite a bit of a gap that Jared Mann's put on the second place truck of Mickey Sundera. Caleb Sibbett running third. Michael, he's almost 3 seconds back. Jared Mann's on pit road. Leader is on pit road.
We have a couple on there as well. The 43 and the 29 are also going to dive down right there. A couple of teammates come down pit road together. We'll see if they all blend together, have a good stop. You see Jared Mann in his box clean, Caleb Sibbett in his box clean. We'll see, keep an eye on them too as they start to roll out those 3 on pit road. We have another one, the 58 of Joshua Baker is going to take his scheduled stop here. Let's see if we can catch anyone else that's going to hand the lead over to the 2 of Mickey Sundera, the other teammate of those guys there at 864 Motorsports. Able to clear the 43. You see the 29 right behind him. Let's see if he's able to get around. I believe the 26 should have beat these 2 out. Let's see if we can catch a look. Where is Jared? Yep, so Jared did beat him out. There he is. You see him rolling off turn 4 right now. That's going to bring, you see on your screen, the 18 of Jerry McKinney is going to head to pit road for his stop.
It stops unfolding here in stage 3 at Milwaukee. This is where we're going to see how does it all pan out. You see Grigsby, Sibbett trying to get back around the 2 of Mickey Sandera. They have the fresh tires. This is what we were talking about. Look at the speed differential as Grigsby looks underneath Sandera heading off into the corner. Mickey still pushing it pretty hard for being on those little tires. Sibbett on the outside, 3 wide at Milwaukee.
Teammate on teammate, the 43 and the 2. The 43 is getting as fast around him as quick as he can, trying to catch the 5. Jesse Splint's going to do the same thing. He's going to push it hard underneath his teammate here. The 85 of Jason Baker going to follow suit. And you see locked there behind these guys. Look at how much of a position. He's still 1 lap down. He's got to get around the 2 to get back on the lead lap, but he will be right behind Jesse Sperling and Jason Baker in terms of position on the track. So he's got to get around the 2 as quick as he can in case we have a caution car. Oh, Sibbett way out of the groove right there. He's not kidding. Sibbett way out of the groove. Oh boy, hold on. No, Sperling!
Sperling into the wall. Hard hit for Jesse Sperling. Left front fender gone. Tire pointed in the wrong direction. Keeps it green
Still
somehow.
green. Let's keep an eye on it. Maybe let's see if he loses it. Coming back around the pit road. Keep an eye on it. A vicious hit there from the 29. We saw the 3 of Seth Owens stuck on the high line. We'll try to catch a replay. We'll make sure Jesse gets the pit road clean.
Watch him around the apex. He has very little steering in that truck right now. See if he washes up. He's able to keep it down for the most part.
Got to make that
Oh.
turn on the pit road. Oh. Let's try to see if we can catch a look at what happened there.
That was a dadgum moment there, Michael.
Indeed it was. Try to see if we can catch a look here. From Jesse's point of view, I think he gets a little squeezed up here. Let's see. You see the 43 right there. Goes outside the 3 of Seth Owens. Just thinks that I don't think he thinks they're going to catch the 3 coming out of that corner, and so when he comes up, he doesn't want to hurt his teammate, the 43 right there. Just comes up a little bit too much. The car wasn't settled. He was still rolling out of the corner, so it's super light on that front end where if you get any kind of contact anywhere on that truck, it's going to be unsettled very easily. And you can just see that little bit of contact there on the left quarter panel. You see Sibbett was way out of the groove, though. I think he overdrove it, just way off the pace, went up to the high line. Jesse's coming up, doesn't realize he's 3 wide, a little bit of contact there off the net code, and that just ships him down to the wall. And I think that's definitely going to hurt the 29. We'll see if he has his fast repair. If not, that may be... Nope, I think he's back out there as we are back live. So I think he had a fast repair, had to use it. He's right now P17. He is a lap down there, Troy.
Mickey Sandera on pit road. That hands the lead over to the 14 of Emil Duna. Emil Duna out front. I think he's the last one that has not pit, Michael. He's got almost 9 seconds currently on Jared Mann. Now the question is Jared Mann going to push it, or is he just going to relax? He knows that Duna has to pit. There's no choice. Duna is going to have to bring it to pit road for fuel. It looks like Duna's coming right now. That's going to have the lead back to the 26 of Jared Mann.
Jared Mann's going to be happy to have that lead back. I'm looking over, so Duna is one of the last ones left to pit. The 93 of Burt Wojcik has also not came in for his final stop yet. And I believe there's one more. And if I can read, the 3 of Seth Owens, who has also not come in for his final scheduled stop. He's been out there for 62 laps on this stint, and I think he's just continuing trying to ride as best he can, trying to hold on to that truck.
Trying to hold on indeed, but I want to draw your attention to the current P3 runner, the 62 of Joey Creech. He was not the first one to pit road, but he was one of the early ones, if I remember correctly, Michael, to get to pit road. Now running in that P3 position. Caleb Sibbett, now P2. Looks like Burt Wojcik gave up a spot there, so Creech up to P2. If I'm keeping up with all this moving and shaking correctly.
You are.
All right. So Burt Wojcik in P3, and then Caleb Sibbett P4. That's what we're going to be watching. Mann, Creech, Sibbett, Baker, Grigsby should be the top 5 when the 93 hits pit road, which I believe we'll be doing here just momentarily.
He's just now on pit road. Burt Wojcik in, making his schedule stop. He was sitting on that stint for 64 laps, so the longest one on that last stint out there. So right now your top 5, Jared Mann, Joey Creech, Caleb Sibbett, Jason Baker, Mickey Sundera, Derek Grigsby, and the one of Taylor Locklear, who is currently 11 seconds away from the leader. But I do want to make a point. We saw him be the first one to come to pit road, made that costly mistake of having to back up into his box, which could be a 3 to 4 second mistake, and then getting his service. And if he had done that, if we're going to say that it's a 3.5 second mistake, right now he would be racing for P4, excuse me, with Jason Baker there in P4, had he not maybe had a little bit of that slip up there going into his box.
Simple mistakes can be compounded, and that is an unfortunate situation for Taylor Locklear again. Running inside the top 10, so still a great run. But right now, everybody's trying to track down the 26th of Jared Mann. Jared Mann, clean stop. Joey Creech running second. He got in early as well. Great move from Joey Creech. Caleb Sibbett, P3, about 5 seconds back to the leader. Give or take a little bit. Mickey Sundera, Jason Baker, like Michael said. A lot of great moving and shaking. Draw your attention just real quick. Jesse Sperling in the 29 with that unfortunate situation with his teammate, and the 3 of Seth Owens coming out of the corner. Drop Jesse back to P13. He's 1 lap down. Nobody's cheering for a caution more right now than the 29 truck of Jesse Sperling. But again, all this happening behind the 26 of Jared Mann, well out in front of the field.
With Jared Mann down and away, you see right on the bottom ticker, he's 4.2 seconds ahead of these guys. And sure enough, we will have a caution here, Troy.
The caution is out. We see the smoke. It looks like the 98 is the Thaddeus Friel truck was there. We'll see what actually brought out the caution.
Gets it loose there at turn 4, trying to load up on that higher line.
He grated that cheese head across that rough surface and started to melt some nachos in the process there. The 98 up high. Great view here on the replay. Loose, 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 loose. Breaks it. Does a good job of locking it down, not getting into the 51 of Patrick Schaefer. And then tries to stay still and not get run over.
A great save there, not getting into the door of the 51 there. All the momentum, if you see the throttle, is going to carry you down the track, and end up turning the 51, able to just have a little bit of a slide, able to hold on to it, save that truck, save the others around him, and just recollect that truck and get back rolling again.
Now, Michael, it'll be interesting to see pit strategy. I do not believe had Seth Owens come in, he had stayed out prior. He is showing 1 lap down, so he must have got caught. It could have been a great move for guys that pit early or hadn't pitted yet to come in for tires. Now it's a different strategy call. Now it's not, can you make it to the end? Now it's, do you want track position or do you want fresh tires?
I have Seth Owens right now on the lead lap, so I don't think he got caught, Troy. We'll see if maybe he has to give some spots back. Right now I have him P15. He is on the lead lap. The first car a lap down should be the 29. Don't check me on that. I believe he got the wave around.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're in front of the leader, so they should get the wave around. You won't get to pit there. Really? This is going to be interesting. I do see Seth on the lead lap. We'll see where this all shakes out. Looks like the wave around is happening now? Question mark. With the movement.
Yes, I believe so. Sperling went to pit road. You see Friel, Wojcik, and Owens are all coming around, so that should be the wave around. Which means Seth was ahead of the leader, so he may have been a lap down with the wave around. He'll be on the lead lap behind the leaders now, so that does make sense. I believe he was a lap down, just wasn't showing for us. I have Jesse Sperling on the lead lap. I have McKinney and Griffin maybe waiting for them to come back around to complete that circuit for their wave around. We'll see if they're back on the lead lap. Keep an eye on that. Got our hands full over here trying to figure out what's where.
It's always exciting when you get a long green flag run, a bunch of different strategy calls, and then you restack the field up. a lot of different things playing out. The caution was extended by a lap, so we'll see if everything gets sorted out here on the track. Great move by race controller JD Baker to make sure everything's squared away. Such a short track, it's hard to get things pulled back together in short order, so making sure things are safe for the drivers to go back under green. Great move by race control. Now, up front, Jared Mann. He probably did not want to see that caution, Michael. He had a pretty good gap on the field. Joey Creech now going to be right there with him. Brings in Civic, brings in Sandera, and Jason Baker. Jason Baker has not had a chance to battle up front all night, even though he's had the fastest averages. This is going to be a shootout on this restart. Let's see how close they make friends. Michael, why don't you bring us back to me?
Guess I'll try my best. Doesn't go right. What happens on the mile stays on the mile. You see the lights are off on the pace truck. Jared Mann leading the field here for possibly the final restart of the race. Pace truck is off. Here we go. Grab your cheese heads. We're going back green racing here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Jared Mann with a great jump on the field, almost like a tee shot that stayed in the fairway instead of the woods. Jared Mann, Caleb Simmett in tow. He got a great jump as well. Pushed Joey Creech back to third. Creech, he's got everybody bottled up behind him. Mickey Sandera bottled up, nowhere to go. Jason Baker.
Contact!
Baker, get contact! They save it.
Oh, he's going to spin it. Oh, we're going to have a wreck. Big one back here. Oh. Oh, no, not what you wanted to see there. Try to catch a replay right here. You see side-by-side action right here. The 62 at Creech, this pack is all bottled up. All the 62 cuts off the nose of the 85, which gets him loose. He's trying to gas it back up, not to lose spots. And it slides right on down, catching McKinney, who gets hit by Wojcik. We'll try to see if we can
Michael,
catch it.
When you back it up again, I'll also call out the 14 and the 85 were really close going into the corner before the 62 shut off his nose. So this is a lot to pass. So Baker wiggles coming out of that corner. Everybody's bottled up. The 14 right out his bumper backs off. The 62 comes down. 85 gets his nose clipped, goes up the track, saves it, trying to stay in the throttle out to give up positions, gets clipped by the 18. 18 gets hit by the 93. And at some point in time, we've called enough numbers that somebody better say bingo.
We'll catch one more ride here. We're going to see what Jerry McKinney had coming here, going into turns 3 and 4. So he sees smoke in the air. You see all these guys see the fire of the pipes. They're checking out. They think they're clear to go back. All of a sudden smoking. He's trying to get down as much as he can. The truck's just not going to turn. Loading up or out of that corner. We're going to ride one more view real quick before we go back out. And that's the 93 of Burt Wojcik.
Notice he also has the 12 underneath him. So the 18 could not go down any lower. He had Chris Griffin right underneath him as you watch this replay here.
Correct. I guess the 18 stuck once he hits right there. This really has nowhere to go that fast. Here we go. We'll go in the cockpit view real quick. This is riding with Burt Wojcik. You see there's no real time to react there and ends up catching the 18.
It's very, very tough if you have not had the luxury of driving in iRacing or the HPRL Truck Series. It's very hard. People always ask, why don't you just hit the brakes, Michael? Why don't you just lock it down and come to a dead stop? Well, you have a lot going on. You're making split-second decisions. You don't know if somebody behind you is going to run you over. Sometimes the fastest way to avoid a wreck is actually to drive past it and then slow down because you don't know where trucks are going to slide. So just a lot of things, and on short track, those things happen very, very quickly.
Well, that, and also you see a lot of these guys when you get to these places, you'll play with your brake biases to where when you lock it down, it's going to lock it down instantly because you're using so much brake here that it's going to have a way different feeling than maybe like your regular street car where you get on the brakes, it'll lock it down with that ABS. They don't have ABS in these, so when you lock it, it's locked, and you're not going to get that truck to steer. It's going to be going wherever you have it pointed.
Right now, we're pointed to the start and finish line. The green flag's back out, and Jared Mann fires again. Great restart for the 26. He's out in front. Now Duna looking underneath Civic. Civic comes down. He tries to shut off Duna. Duna gives him a little bit of time.
More spinning.
Oh, we got mayhem in the back.
still wrecking back here. I heard someone's motor blow. Oh no, contact. You see Civet back here sitting on the fence. A lot to unpack here. Oh, you see the 43, I think initially gets hit there by the 14. I think Duna tries to get all the way in the corner as deep as he can. I think just doesn't get it roped down far enough. Let's see if maybe the 43 comes down. I think Duna misses it just a little bit against the 43. The 2 gets the 14. You thought you had bingo last time. Let's see what you get this time, Short. We're going to call out a few more numbers here. You got the 5 of Grigsby involved. You see the 58 get the 2. The 43 gets the 5, who then gets the 1, the 74 to the 18. We're just gonna work our way back here through this wreck. We're gonna do Mickey's view next. We'll do Joshua Baker's view next. Here, we'll try one more time. There's Joshua Baker. Go, green flag starts. You see a checkup. He gets into the 2. Collides to the 43. It's able to keep him rolling straight, but unfortunately what it does is it unsettles the 43 and it ships him up into the wall. Trying to see who else I missed here. Jeremy McKinney's got a scary view there going in turns 1 and 2. Let's see if we can see what he sees here on the restart. You can see he's immediately out of the throttle, he's just knowing it's chaos. And look at all that pile. Look at the lift you saw on the 43 machine. Actually, want to see if we can get another view there. We'll see if we can ride along with the 43 of Caleb Sibbett. He went for a ride here. Try to
One more replay real quick. They doubled up. We'll be back green in just a second.
Just the back of that truck lifted up. Close the motor right there. We'll try to get back to green flag racing here. Everybody on.
All right. A lot of excitement at the end, just like there's a lot of excitement at the beginning. Jared Mann, still your leader. Joey Creech going to restart on the outside again. Mickey Sandera, P3. Patrick Schaefer, 51 truck, P4. Just be around at the end. We said to finish first, you must first finish. And how about Jesse Sperling, Michael? He had the slip early, drove back up, had the unfortunate accident, had to use his fast repair. Now he's going to restart P5 with Thaddeus Friel trying to purr his way into a podium finish as well. The field's a little bit short, the tempers might be shorter, but we're green flag racing with 29 laps to go here at Milwaukee.
Jared Manning cleaning away all nice and clean. The rest of the question is what's going to happen here behind him. We're going to watch on here. Everybody now with a couple contenders taking out that wreck right there. Everybody says it's my turn to go. Let's go see if I can put my name for a podium here. You see these still side by side, the 98 and the 3. Seth Owens and Thaddeus Friel still side by side right there. Friel's going to clear right now. I'll let the P6, Thaddeus Friel. A great rebound there after that. Chaos that we just saw unfold. Where all the attention is going ahead. Jesse Sperling is attacking Joey Creech for the podium finish here. Working underneath. No contact yet, but they're going to be close here. Jesse Sperling's going to push hard. He still has 28 laps, so plenty of time to actually have a run along with State Green. So you don't want to burn everything off here. I think there's a 2-lap shootout. You still have a good bit of run to go. So keep an eye out for guys who are still going to carry that pace later after all this restart settles down and gets sorted out. Excuse me.
Speaking of settle down, we'll let Michael settle down as the battle starts to heat up. I don't think Sperling just going for a podium. I think Sperling has his eyes set farther forward. I think he wants to track in front. Look back here a little bit deeper in the field. You see Thaddeus Friel in front of Seth Owens. Seth Owens trying to purple his way through to get up front. Grigsby trying to work his way back up. Jason Baker trying to work his way back up. A lot of guys behind the 8 ball after that wreck. It moved the field, dirty air. Passing was at a premium. We talked about that earlier. Now it's just amplified with 26 laps to go, coming to 25 next time at the stripe. There is time, but there's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. Just looking back up ahead, Jared Mans pulled out to a 3/10 gap. Joey Creech, 3/10 over Mickey Sendera. Joey Creech, P3. Jesse Sperling, P4. Actually fell off a little bit. Patrick Schaefer in P5. And he's right here looking from P6 on back from Thaddeus Friel, Seth Owens, Grigsby, Jason Baker, Joshua Baker, and Brian Torrey.
Great battle happening here. Greg Dyer has his pom-poms out saying, let's go Thaddeus, one at a time, cheering him on. What a great thing to have a cheer squad in your corner. The battle, you see Baker down low underneath Grigsby. He washes up. Are we going to go 3 wide? Maybe 4 wide. Joshua Baker lets his brother back down, trying to keep it clean. Brian Torrey trying to get in there. These fights are ramping up. Here we go, off into the corner.
You see the 85 closing way all the way up to the 3 of Seth Owens right there. The 98 of Thaddeus Friel having all this unfold behind him in his mirror. He's trying to get away as fast as he can. He doesn't want to see it come up and happen on his back door. He wants to get away from all these guys who are fighting each other hard. Seth Owens, though, able to get all the way down to that bottom line. This is so well to get to the bottom. You see Thaddeus Friel trying to cut off any bit of air he can there. Oh, wall contact. The 3 goes around. Gonna be side by side here going into turn 1 with the 98. Now the 85 looking underneath the 98. Jason Baker, Seth Owens, not clear yet. You see him drift a little bit in the corner. See if he's able to put the power down. That is Friel still side by side there with the 3. We see another move behind him. Jason Baker maybe trying to get a little bit of an air push there to the 3, trying to give him a little bit more speed. The 85 closed right up to the bumper there. The 3, I think is going to clear the 98. Oh, the 98 got loose. Contact. Oh, Duna gets caught.
Duna gets caught. Caution
That's a caution.
is gonna be out. Tough break for a lot of guys trying to work their way back through all that. After Friel had just tasted concrete, it's not as soft as a crayon. And you see he just gets loose here, gets Baker. Baker ever so slightly. I don't even know if he made contact or if that was net code, Michael, but Duna, a recipient of nothing of his own doing.
I agree. I think it may have been. No, I think there's actually a little bit of contact. We'll try to see if we can catch. You see a little bit of a spark coming off the right rear of Duna when he comes by. I think he hits it enough and gets a little bit of contact there. I think nothing too bad damage-wise. Maybe a little bit of a smush there on the back bumper. But I do want to go back and look and see when Thaddeus breaks it loose and see if he does in the same spot where he's trying to load it up again. Yeah, he's just trying to load up to get that run. He's stuck on the outside trying to load it up. Gets a little loose, and the 85 is trying to carry the momentum out of the corner. We'll try to see if we can maybe catch a cockpit view of the 85 right here. Okay, so you see the 3 is going to dive it into here. That's a check a big time, not run over the 3 of Seth Owens. You see him try to carry the momentum out. 98 just gets it loose, and that carries momentum up there. He just ends up clipping Duna, spins him around. We'll tap on the wall there, but Duna's able to get back rolling again.
We will see what everybody has after a very, very exciting lap. And, you know, Mike, I think you said it best. You know, one guy's trying to load it up and then has to let off, right? You have to lift to catch it there, while another guy's absolutely hammer down, and 2 things are going to meet in the middle. And exciting things happen, and not always exciting things that you want to have happen. But it's entertainment, and it's racing, and it's elbows up on, I'll call it a short track. It's a mile track. We can call it a short track, right? And it's Wisconsin, so we're not even at bar close yet. So it's going to get more exciting as we come down to 19 to go here into the caution.
Speaking of exciting, I'm looking over here. We had a couple pit stop takers on that one. The top 5 decided to stay out. Jared Mann, Joey Creech on 20-lap old tires. Grigsby, Torrey Sperling on 11. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Grigsby and Torrey on 16-lap old tires. The first one on fresh tires is in 6th place, the 29 of Jesse Sperling with stickers. Fresh tires include the 29, the 2, the 58, the 51, the 93. Everybody behind P5 went and took stickers on that caution with 20 laps to go here, Troy.
Now, it's hard to pass, but we all saw it play out during the green flag stops. Those fresher tires were not just faster, they were visibly faster. Everybody stacked back up. Does Sperling have enough time with those fresh tires to make those top 5 pay? Don't blame the top 5. Track position is important. But boy, would I love to be on freshies right now. And we're going to see if it plays out. The pace truck brings them out of turn number 4. You're going to see it make a hard left-hand turn. Jared Mann, great on restarts all night, fires, gets a huge jump again. Seth Owens trying to work underneath Creatures. We're back underway with 18 laps to go.
Back green, Jared Mann gets the point spot. Joey Creech right behind. Gonna go try to go attack and see what he can do. You see the 3 of Seth Owens side by side with the 5 of Derek Grigsby. Jesse Sperling going right to work. Or I guess 1 spot up to P5. You see the 2 of Sandera looking underneath the 74. Thinks better of it. Ooh, gets caught behind the 5 of Grigsby. Jesse Sperling 3 wide. Here we go. Keep your eyes open. 3 wide here going out of turn number 4. They get through it clean. Sperling still trying to get every bit of the run he did when he went up high there. Jesse now is going to look at how much of a speed he has. Even up in the higher groove, we talked about that upper groove not working very well. You see him able to get such a run there on the 5. With the 58 of Baker following right behind. Jesse Sperling all the way up to P3. If he can get to the 3, maybe a little bit of a move there, Troy. I think he gave him a little bit of a bumper there to get him out of the groove.
I think the 3 pinched and the 29 was pushing with everything. And you said it, Michael. Save the bumpers for later. They're going to come out. The 29 back up to P3. He's got Joey Creech in his sight. I have a feeling this is going to get exciting. It's exciting behind them too, but right now we're going to watch these leaders. How much do they have left? Fresh tires, old tires, guys that have been up front, guys that have worked their way back through the pack. All of this is going to come to a culmination in the next 15 and a quarter laps as they come out of turn 4. Jared Mann still on point at Milwaukee.
I'm waiting to see this lap time come across. I think it's not going to be a happy number. It isn't. Jesse Sperling up to P2. Jared Mann a 30.6. Jesse Sperling a 32, Troy. 4/10 a lap. At the 26 is surrender to the 29. It's going to be no time at all. It'll be a lap here. We'll see if Jesse tries to make a move here in turn 3. Maybe he sets it up for the next lap in turn 2 with a run. Jesse Sperling is flying in the 26th season. He's going to have to play some hard defense to make sure that 29 doesn't get around him.
Defense indeed, which is not a strong suit in Wisconsin. But he also, look, the 58 of Joshua Baker's coming. He's into Mickey Sundar in the 2s, also trying to make a run. This might not just be a 2-truck battle for the lead. We might have 3 or 4 of them fighting here. It's down to like a 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. Basically, they're right on top of each other. You're going to watch Jesse Sperling. He enters high. Jared Mann's not going to give it the bottom side. Jesse Sperling with those fresh tires outside. Gonna give up a little bit. Jared Mann hugs that bottom. Jesse Sperling lays down the power side by side as we cross the stripe with 13 laps to go.
13 laps to go. Jesse Sperling's trying to use every bit of that fresh tire he can. He's going to force himself down there onto that fresh pave, on that repave. Oh, contact! A little bit of contact between the 2 of them. They're still straight, still clear. You see the 2 working on the 58 ahead of them. There's a 4-car side, 2x2, 2 rows deep. Jesse Sperling up on the high line. He's going to try to get the diamond technique, get as big as a run as he can, putting all the power down. He's got to be careful not to loosen up the rear of that truck. Jesse Sperling clears. Jesse Sperling to the point. He'll lead with 12 laps to go. But is he going to be able to hold off the fresh tires behind the 26? The 2 and the 58 are battling hard, and Monkey trying to get around the 26 to Jared Mann. Joshua Baker looking like the best spot to do it. We'll see if he's going to be side by side with the 26. Jesse Sperling, your leader, coming to 11 to go.
Jesse Sperling out front. Right now, the battle for P2, the 26 of Jared Mann, the 58 of Joshua Baker, the 2 of Mickey Sandera. I think the 2 is the fastest truck out of the 3 of them, but he's bottled up behind Jared Mann on those old tires, and Joshua Baker just doesn't have enough to get around Mann on the outside.
Caution!
And we got a caution, Michael. We're not done yet.
Not yet. Jerry McKinney went for a ride, I think. We'll catch a replay real quick right here. Got a lot to break down, but these guys are going to get even more and more exciting as we get closer with these late race cautions. Let's see what happens here. You see the 18 trying to put the power down there. You have the 98 to his outside. Oh, a little bit of net code got him, I think. The 98 of Thaddeus Friel, they get tangled, but you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. And I thought they were going to be 3 wide. McKinney held it low. Yeah, it's a little bit of net code right there. He didn't come all the way up, but maybe he didn't know that there were 3 wide above him, possibly 4 wide above him. You can see right there. Oop, went a little bit too far. We'll try to catch one more. You see the 74 of Torrey, the 14 of Duna right here ahead of him, the 98 of Thaddeus Friel outside the 18 of McKinney, these 2 red trucks. The Thaddeus knows they're probably going to be 3 wide. McKinney comes up just a little bit of that net code, go ahead and spins him around. I don't think damage too detrimental. Oh, maybe, hold on. Pulled in front of Civet. Nothing too bad, but definitely went for a spin around there, Troy.
Went for the spin cycle, and then, yeah, as you guys all saw, that's what we talked about with netcode. The 98, I think Thaddeus Friel actually backed out of it knowing they were about to be in a bad spot, but he unfortunately still got a hold of Jerry McKinney through the wonderful world of technology. So we're going to reset. We're going to be less than 10 laps to go. We're going to see how all this plays out. Jesse Sperling on point. Joshua Baker will restart outside. We know that he likes the outside, Michael. But the two of Mickey Sandera will restart P3, which means that he'll be right behind that 29 truck. They are teammates. Mickey Sandera has won the last 2 races in a row. He was our first repeat winner last week. Do we follow up repeat winner with 3-peat? It's going to be entertaining, and I don't want to discount Patrick Schaefer, who will restart P4. And it looks like, is it Emil Duna currently running around in that 5th position?
I do have the 14 of Emil Duna there sitting at P5. A little sneaky run back up to the front here trying to get a podium, but I do also want to point out, Troy, you talk about 3 in a row for the 2. We also saw the 29-2 have a little bit of an incident a couple weeks ago earlier in this season. Let's make sure that maybe friendly fire doesn't occur here. Something to keep an eye on. Make sure these guys play nice with each other and have the common goal of beating that 51 and the 58 on their outsides.
It's going to be a nail biter. Hey, chat, give a shout out. What's your call? We're going to go green with 7 laps to go. Who do you got? Who you cheering for? Who do you think is going to win it? Sperling working his way back through. Joshua Baker trying to put some goodies into the oven. Mickey Sandera with the 3-peat. Patrick Schaefer, first-time winner of the season. How about Emil Duna? He's been the bridesmaid a couple times. What about Brian Torrey, newcomer this season? We got a lot of excitement. Oh, and Burt Wojcik there too. It's going to be entertaining here the last 7 laps. The pace truck comes out of turn number 4. You're going to see the hard left-hand turn. They're going to roll into the restart zone. Jesse Sperling fires away. Joshua Baker, great start. They're side by side, Michael.
Got the great jump he needed. 29 is going to drive it in deep here. Joshua Baker's got to get a little bit of that repay to have any kind of shot holding on the outside. He's able to hold strong, not getting a little bit of repay, but he's going to get some quarter panel, able to hold on strong here. He can't lose Sperling. I think Sperling's going to try to roll this corner very well here. Let's see if Baker's able to hold on to it. Jesse Sperling should be clear. I think he's going to pull up. He will. Jesse Sperling clears back to the point, but the 2's under attack. The 14 of Emil Duna is coming after that podium position. Jesse Sperling clearing away, but look behind this battle for 3rd. The 14 and the 2 are going to go at it. Jared Mann, P5. Right now, it's all about Duna. The battle for 3rd as Jesse Sperling starts to pull away from Joshua Baker there in P2.
Jesse Sperling on point. Joshua Baker, P2. Emil Duna and Mickey Sandera side by side. Look at Jared Mann. I think he might have pit at the last stop, Michael. Up to P number 5. He's rolling in behind this battle. Duna pushing up the track. We know that he hasn't been holding it down low. I see smoke off the wall. I don't know if Sperling caught the wall there or what, but it's getting exciting. Now look, Jared Mann looking at making it 3 wide for that 3rd position. Duna down low, slides up the track a little bit. Him, Mickey Sandera, side by side, and Jared Mann now looking underneath. Here we go, Michael. Are they going to go 3 wide?
I think Jared thought better of it. Duna trying to block it. I think Jared knew that Duna was not going to give up that bottom. They're both going to take Duna on the outside, I think. You see Jared Mann 3 wide. Let's see what happens here. He's got the positioning. Does everybody know they're 3 wide? Oh, the 14's going to cut off the 2. The 26 now to the outside. Jared Mann got the position. He's up on that high line. Duna's just sliding that truck up in that corner, trying to get anything he can, trying to get it to stick. The 26 goes through to P3. Duna's now got to hold off, trying to fight the 2 behind, and Jesse Sperling's pulled ahead to almost a 5/10 lead here with coming to 4 to go. This battle right here not done yet for P4, but the podium seems to be settled in. We'll see if maybe the 26 has a run for the 58. Troy, you are correct. Jared Mann did pit on that last restart, or on that last caution. 6 lap old tires versus 17 lap old tires from the leaders, and you see him immediately attacking the 58 right there. We'll watch on. Maybe he can snag P2. We'll see if there's anything for Jesse Sperling as Jesse Sperling heads down the backstretch, coming around to 3 to go.
We're on 3 to go. We're going to be coming to 2 to go, but who's counting? We got Sperling out in front of the 29, the 26, Jared Mann. Is it going to be a role reversal? Sperling just did this to Mann less than a dozen laps ago. Now he's out in front, but he's got older tires. We're going to watch it play out. Again, under 2 laps to go. You can see Mann rolling in. Sperling has to push with everything he has as they go down the backstretch. They're going to fire it off to the corner. Sperling will still be on the point. Jared Mann second. Look at the closing speed. We're going to be coming to the white flag this time by.
We're going to have a race for the finish here, Troy. It's going to be close. Jared Mann last lap a 30.599. Just Sperling a 30.79. He's got to play defense here. Don't let him get the easy line below you. Force him to the outside. White flag is out. Here we go. 1 lap. This is it for the win. How hard are they going to push each other? Is Jesse going to let him get away here on the high line run? Let's see if he stays tight to the quarter panel. They are going to be side by side as they head into turn 3. How hard is Jesse Sperling driving into this corner? Is he going to give the door to the 26? Contact! He gets the 26 loose! Waits for him to settle! Still bobbling! They're going to get ran over! Joshua Baker! Joshua Baker steals one! 5 wide across the line!
Oh, what a finish! Oh, Michael! Somebody call the doctor. That is too much at the line. Joshua Baker drives underneath chaos. I'm showing the 62 of Joey Creech in second.
The 3 of Mickey Sundero and P2. Let's get a replay. We gotta break this one back down. There was a lot to unpack there. We'll see if we can get this one played back for you real quick. A lot to unpack here on that last lap, and it all comes down to this last corner. We saw the 29 of Jesse Sperling get into the 26 right here. And I think what he was trying to do is trying to give the spot back to the 26, giving the 26 to win. But the problem was the 26 bobbled again, and everybody caught him. And it ended up getting into each other again. You can see they're 5 wide coming to the line right here. We'll ride one more time with Joshua Baker here. Let's see if we can maybe catch his view. If we can get this view settled right. There we go, cockpit. So he knows right now, right here, he has no shot at that win unless they take each other out. And everything that he's hoping happens is going to happen right there. You see these two get loose. You see how slow they're waiting. He sees it. I'm going to go through the grass. I have the window. I'm not giving it up. Drives on the bottom on the line, takes the win, and steals one as the other two are trying to figure it out and get it sorted back out. I'm going to go back one more time. We're going to try to see if we can catch Abel Duna trying to sneak up in there. He's still going to finish out P4. We're going to see all these guys right here on the bottom. See the 62, try to split him. He gets the 26, bumps the 2. Edges out Mickey Sundero there. Duna just not enough momentum. He went up on the higher groove. Go back one more time here. A lot to break down. We're going to go with the 2 here of Mickey Sundero. Well, there you see he's in the best spot. He's on that bottom line. 62 comes down, gives him a bump. Just keep your foot in the throttle. Don't give it up now. 62 gets a little push from the 5. The 2's able to hold on and edge out Duna there. Oh, got a bit of the corner there at the end. A wild ride there at the end for that one. But what a win.
Michael,
what a steal there.
The gap between Mickey Sundero in 3rd and Emil Duna in 4th, 9 1,000ths of a second.
So close. So close for that podium for Emil Duna. We saw him charging there late. We're going to catch up. We're going to watch the 58's burnout. We were trying to break down that finish. We're going to watch it here. 58 Joshua Baker's going to burn it down here at the mile in Milwaukee, Troy. What a finish. Joshua Baker, a heartbreaker, steals one for the 26 and the 29.
Joshua Baker steals one. We'll look at the complete finishing order and talk to your top 3 finishers after we take a quick break and catch our breaths just like you do.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile. The 200 at the mile is over. What an exciting finish. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our finishing order from this evening's affairs. After 200 laps, Joshua Baker in the 58 with the win. 62 of Joey Creech second. The 2 of Mickey Sundera third. Emil Duna bringing it home fourth. Jared Mann fifth after the contact in the final corner. Derek Grigsby sixth. Jesse Sperling in seventh. Patrick Schaefer eighth. Bert Wojcik 9. And Thaddeus Friel rounding out the top 10.
In P11, you have the 1 of Taylor Locklear, P12, the 74 of Brian Torrey, P13, the 12 of Chris Griffin, P14, the 18 of Jerry McKinney, P15, the 3 of Seth Owens, P16, the 85 of Jason Baker, P17, the 43 of Caleb Sibbett, P18, the 15 of Christopher Hockley, and in P19, the first timer and the last one here, the 10 of James Dubose.
That rounds out our 19 truck finishing field here at Milwaukee. And with that, we're going to turn to our post-race interviews. And we're going to start with our third place finisher this evening, the number 2 of Mickey Sundera. Mickey, I'm going to turn it over to Michael because I'm still trying to unpack everything that happened tonight.
Mickey, obviously, congratulations. A wild run there towards the end of that race. You saw the 26 and the 29 get together. Kind of walk me through that last lap. What are you thinking? Were you trying to get the truck set up for when you see all that calamity unfold ahead of you?
Yeah, Jesse and Jared, they were pretty far ways ahead and going into 3. And then entering 3, I just saw them get together, going up the track. And I did the best I could to stay low to try to miss all that. And somehow, some way, I came away with the top 3 finish.
Well, top 3 indeed, Mickey. I don't know if you know, but you and Emil Duna were on opposite ends of the track. The gap between you and Emil was 9 1,000ths of a second. 0.009 seconds separated you from this interview to 4th place. Did you realize how close it was as you were coming down to the line?
I did because I felt like I was getting pushed down towards pit wall. I knew we were either 2 or 3 wide. I didn't know how close I was to the car next to me, but I know I was real close to the pit wall, so I knew it was gonna be a tight finish. But yeah, no, a top 3. I couldn't believe that on that last lap.
Well, Mickey, first, third in your last 3 races. What's been the key to the finishes the last 3 weeks, and can you carry that momentum heading into next week?
Yeah, I just think it's putting, time and effort into trying to be a better racer. And then, getting with my teammates, Jesse and Caleb, we all put the work in to see each other succeed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, I believe we have Richmond next, so my home track. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Nothing like the feeling of heading home. Well, congratulations on a top 3 finish. We're going to hand the floor over to you to do your shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, whatever you want. The mic is yours, sir.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Jiffy Lube Mechanicsburg of Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Of course, Vickers Auto Parts, GB22 Designs for this awesome scheme. my 864 teammates, Caleb and Jesse. Thank you guys for the amazing broadcast as always. Duna for putting on such a great league. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys had fun watching.
It was fun indeed. Mickey, again, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher this evening, the 2 of Mickey Sundera. With that, we're going to go ahead and bring in the runner up tonight, the 62 of Joey Creech. And I actually have a lot to talk about with Joey, but first, Michael, I'll turn it over to you to talk to Joey about the runner up finish this evening.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, Joey, congratulations. Obviously, runner-up, not exactly where a lot of people want to be, but after all the calamity, we saw that chaos coming around turn 4. I don't think it's too bad of a spot to be when all you had in your windshield ahead of you there coming to the checkers.
Yeah, it got nuts there at the end. I thought I had a chance to split them there and maybe have a run for the win, but I lifted. I didn't want to just destroy everybody. So it's good hard racing.
Well, good hard racing indeed, and runner up, not a bad finish, like Michael said. But Joey, I actually want to back up a little bit. We didn't get to talk to you when you won the pole the other week. So, first of all, congratulations on that Duna Electric Pole Award that we didn't get to talk
Thank
to you
you.
about. In addition to your runner up finish, you were running up front occasionally throughout the night. You were able to push the pace a little bit, save tires. What was the key to be there at the end before that calamity even struck?
A little luck. That second to last pit stop, I thought I messed my race up, man. Didn't pit with everybody else, and I just seen it running out green and not going my way. And we got that caution and 7 laps or so to go. I didn't know how far I could get through there, but man, tires matter. It didn't matter how many laps were on them.
Well, they always say sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I think there was a little bit of talent behind the wheel as well.
I said that in the Discord before the race. I'd just rather be lucky than good. Sometimes it goes a long ways.
That's right. Well, all that matters is a podium finish here at Milwaukee. Obviously, a long stretch to go, but a great points night for you. Congratulations. We're going to turn the mic over to you to do your shout out, sponsor plugs, whatever you want. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. First and foremost, I want to thank Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania for sponsoring the league. Vickers Auto Parts for sponsoring the stages. If it weren't for them, we couldn't do this. So thank you. It's much appreciated. I'd like to thank my parents for watching, the family that watches, my wife for letting me do this, right? So yeah, man, it's awesome. Hopefully we get one more position better.
Well, Joey, again, congratulations on the runner up finish. Great to get to talk to you. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your runner up this evening, the 62 of Joey Creech. And with that, we're going to bring up either the happiest, luckiest, or most calculated driver in the field tonight. After 200 laps at Milwaukee, your winner this evening, the 58 of Joshua Baker.
Applause everywhere. I can't hear the fans. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. It was a wild one there.
Definitely so. Obviously, Josh, I'm not gonna directly go with the finish. I'm gonna save that one for Troy. I kind of want to piggyback a little bit something different there. Try to bring you a little bit before that. So, obviously, a lot of these races, we see you really try to attempt to go up into that higher groove, try to work on that more of a diamond technique. We see you do it pretty frequently. And you're one of the best at doing it. So I kind of want to just ask off the rip here, did you kind of come in wanting to do that diamond technique where you kind of got a little bit off of that repave, trying to get a little bit more of a run down the straightaways, or is it kind of just with how much dirty air there was, maybe you had no choice but to go up there to go try to get some clean air?
I mean, I'm not going to say dirty air wasn't a factor tonight, but it was probably one of the few races that it had the least effect for me that I've experienced. Running the outside though, during practice, I was on a late tire run, 20 laps or so, and there was a group of them around me that were, 10, 15 lap tires, and I noticed how everybody was charging real shallow into the corner, and I was kind of doing the higher arc into it, like almost like a natural corner as opposed to a diamond.
Yes, sir.
And that first quarter entry to the turn, I was pretty heavy on the brake, just like everybody else, but I would let it roll through that center, especially 1 and 2. If you follow the inside, right against the stripe, it's almost like 2 apexes. It looks like it. So I would let it cruise and just roll through the center, and then try to hold it as tight as I could. But I realized I was getting beat during the race that way, so I started changing my line to where I was trying to stay on that new pavement the entire time. It worked sometimes. Sometimes I still, got in a little too hot, and yeah, I was, yeah, yeah, wasn't. I was optimistic. I'm usually optimistic for every race that we enter, weekly, and this one I was just going to kind of bide my time. You know what I mean, and see what I could make happen. We ran here in season 4. I had a pretty good race that race, led 13 laps. But yeah, this was awesome.
Oh.
It's a long time coming. First win in the league.
All right, Joshua. So that's what I wanted to get to, but most importantly, you said bide your time. 199 and a half laps. Who cares? Talk me through the last half a lap. You had such a gap. It didn't look like it was going to be in your grasp. Just walk everybody through what you were thinking that last half of a lap.
So after I think I started outside of Jesse, and Jared came rolling through. After he got by fairly easy, I was just trying to defend third, try to get up here into the booth and speak with you guys for the first time. And like, I was just going to hold third. I didn't think Duna had anything. But he had proven through the race that he had really good long run speed. I know that we had just started, 5 laps prior to this. And I honestly didn't even see him in the relative until that restart. So I seen him charging, but I knew it was going to be between Jesse and Jared. And coming out of 2, I was just going to hold the block, obviously, to the inside, take that line, so they would have to go outside. And I wasn't even paying attention to the 2 of them. They were so far ahead of me. I was honestly watching my mirror and the white line. I wanted to pinch it as tight as I could. And all of a sudden on entry, I just seen a cloud of smoke, and I pinched the line, held it, and almost got another 4X. And fortunately enough, Jesse kept control of the truck and didn't come all the way down, because I actually skipped across the turtles right there at the end of the corner, skipped right over the grass. And yeah, completely unexpected.
Well, I promise, Joshua, we're not going to call PETA for running over the turtles, but just put into words for everybody what a victory means with the talent, the series, plugging away week after week. What does this first victory mean to you?
Hard work pays off. I mean, I haven't been putting in the time like I have in previous seasons, but just the later part of last season, I had a horrible run, and it actually took me out of contention for the championship. And I was kind of dejected. I almost didn't come back this season. But sitting down with my brothers, we came up with a game plan, and once we commit to start something, we're going to finish it as best as we can. And yeah, if it wasn't for them keeping my head up, Jason and JD, I don't know. I don't even know that I would have ran tonight, honestly, because I've been really dejected. So this is awesome, man. Awesome.
Well, nothing says perseverance and powering through like winning a race. And so, sir, I want you to take a moment to soak it in. We're going to be quiet. We're going to hand the floor over to you to do your shout outs, sponsor plugs, family, friends, whatever you want. The mic is yours, sir.
I want to thank the old lady for putting up with me 2 nights a week, coming in here and racing. It honestly takes a lot for the other half to put up with something like that, especially when we're talking about, huge air quotes here, a video game. But both of my brothers started on iRacing in 2011 with JD. Jason came along, and we haven't really looked back. Vickers Auto Parts, Duna for the league, you guys for the broadcast, Jiffy Lube, Mechanicsburg, and Camp Hill, PA. All the guys behind the scenes that actually make this happen. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this tonight. Especially for you guys too, putting on a good show.
Well, with finish like that, Mr. Baker, our job is easy. Congratulations again on the win. Soak it up this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week right back here.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your race winner, the 58 of Joshua Baker. Michael, I think it's safe to say that it's finally starting to sink in for him.
I think so, and honestly, it takes you a while, especially off a thrilling win like that, where you kind of think you're out of it, and it kind of just drops in your hands. You don't have time to think about it. I mean, it's kind of just, especially with how quick we move stuff around. We immediately pulled him up, had an interview, put him on the spot with questions, asked him about it. It's When something like that happens, it takes a while for it to finally sink in. That just happened. He'll probably go watch the replay. He'll watch the broadcast. Maybe tomorrow after he's calmed it back down, let's look and say, how did that happen? How did that come to me? A win is a win. It's so hard to get them. We've seen great competition. Another winner here in the HPRL series. I mean, it's so hard to get them. And when you finally break through to get the first one, it's just uplifting. You can finally breathe, relax, and just kind of clear your head of everything that you worked for so far this season.
Yeah, you hit on it, Michael. Another winner. That's 6 winners through 7 races. What a heck of a season 6 we're having. But I also want to call out what all the drivers called out. We couldn't do this without our sponsors, and season 6 of the HPRL Truck Series is brought to you by Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. They're proud to sponsor grassroots racing and the sim racing community. They provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep their customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventive maintenance and vehicle care, they're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. They're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. Speaking of leaving worry behind, we're going to leave Milwaukee behind, and we're going to head over to Richmond, Michael. The season continues on. We talked about this stretch of racing. Elbows up. A lot of short tracks means a lot of laps. 250 laps coming up at Richmond, New Hampshire. And then Michael, the lady in black, says hello.
Always happy to go say hello to that pretty lady there in South Carolina. But we still have a few more weeks to get to that. We're going to hold off on that. We head to Richmond next week. One of my favorite short tracks. It's just such a fun track. We'll have to go a little bit more in depth when we get there. Kind of the challenges that it presents. All these short tracks is one I really love going to short tracks. There's so many little weird kinks and differences that really makes them so unique. You think of what we've done here, North Wilkesboro. Super historic, super tight, odd ways with the barriers just because it's an older track. They didn't really have the best way to map them out super straight, so it's odd angles, entries, and out of corners. IRP, a super old surface. Once again, kind of different surfaces playing around. We saw it tonight, the Milwaukee Mile. You have that one strip of fresh pave. You have a lot of older stuff where maybe it makes a single groove track, but you still have room to move around on these corners with them being pretty wide. Richmond's the same thing. It's a pretty fun track. We're still going to see a lot of aggressiveness, and really I think Richmond kind of breeds it. It's a very fast short track. You have a lot of room to make dive bombs, to make a wide front stretch. There is what I think of when I think of Richmond and the turn 4 trouble that we're going to see. We'll cover that next week. Don't want to spoil everything, but I'm definitely excited as we head over to Richmond, Virginia.
Well, excitement, if you put it on a gauge of tonight, if we get more exciting, I don't know how we're going to do that. Different stage winners, different strategies, early cautions, late cautions, contact at the end, sportsmanship to try to give it back, only to have a 4-5 wide finish depending on where you looked. What a tremendous evening here at Milwaukee. As a reminder, we also have the All-Star race coming up in a few weeks. You play an important role in the All-Star race. We talked about it last week. Remember, go to Fantasy Sim Racing, the presenting sponsor of the All-Star Race, because your lineups matter. Who you put in your top spot in that fantasy lineup, if your fantasy lineup wins, that person in the top spot wins. We'll show you how to do that as we get a little bit closer, but we don't want you to forget. Scan that QR code, set up an account. It's free to do, and you can support your favorite driver. Get some practice in the weeks leading up to it. We're looking forward to that, Michael. It's going to be exciting. Only green flag racing at Echo Park.
Definitely so. Like we said last week, going with a dirt style, we're not going to count those caution laps. We're going to make sure we get the best racing out there. Obviously, me and you, frequent users, you're the main head there over there at FSR. But frequent user over here, I love doing it. Love to have fun with it. Try to see if we can maybe get a little more of the audience chip in there. Obviously, a lot of fun. Pretty straightforward doing it. If you have any questions about it, please comment. We would love to try to help get y'all set up on that and have everybody in here doing it. Try to make a lot of fun here in the All-Star race in a couple weeks.
Fun indeed, and fun was tonight at Milwaukee. I don't know how else to sum it up. Congratulations again to Joshua Baker on that first win. Great to get to talk to the top three. Mickey Sundera continuing that momentum he's had the last few weeks, and Joey Creech, his first time in the podium. On behalf of Emil Duna and everybody at the HPRL Truck Series, the sponsors, Jiffy Lube, Duna Electric, and Vickers Auto Parts, for Michael and myself and everybody here at Veterans and Affiliated Networking, thank you all so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you back here next Thursday night, live from Richmond. Until then, remember, keep it between the lines.